Welcome to Infinite Novel Audio. Subscribe, and enjoy this video. Chapter 26, Phoenixdale Crested Serpent. A somewhat sleazy-looking man strode into the tavern and immediately saw the group of Kankhui Academy students lying on the ground. His expression was ugly. You have to consider the owner before beating a dog. The other party simply did not take the Kankhui Academy seriously at all. Yi Hao looked at this man, who appeared to be the lead teacher of Kankhui Academy, and spoke in a calm tone. I was the one who told them to get out. Do you have a problem with that? HMPH. Yi Zhikyu snorted coldly, and 5 spirit rings rose from beneath his feet. White, yellow, yellow, purple, purple. He was a spirit king with a black tortoise spirit. Scanning the tavern, Yi Zhikyu did not find anyone who looked like a teacher. He frowned slightly, stared at Yi Hao, and said in a deep voice, "Kid, your teacher isn't here, yet you still dare to spout such nonsense before me." The Kankhui Academy students wanted to speak up to warn Yi Zhikyu, but they found they couldn't speak at all, nor could they move. They could only watch silently as their teacher acted arrogant. Yi Hao smiled and said, "Why wouldn't I dare?" Zhao Wuji was indeed not in the tavern right now. Otherwise, there would have been no need for him to speak at all for the people from Kankhui Academy to be kicked out. It seems you lack respect for your senior. Let me teach you a lesson on behalf of your teacher. Yi Zhikyu said coldly. First spirit ability, Black Tortoise Possession. To be safe, he used his spirit ability. Characteristics of the Black Tortoise appeared on his body, and a phantom of the Black Tortoise enveloped him. Swish! Suddenly, a gentle breeze blew by, and Yi Hao's figure appeared abruptly in front of Yi Zhikyu. The corners of his mouth turned up slightly, and there was a hint of coldness in his eyes. Teach him on behalf of his teacher. This guy really dared to say anything. This! A trace of cold sweat dripped from Yi Zhikyu's forehead. He hadn't even seen how Yi Hao suddenly appeared in front of him just now, and he finally realized that something was wrong. Also, those students lying on the ground clearly hadn't fainted, yet they didn't make a peep. Wasn't this setting him up? They were all ungrateful wretches. Get lost! Yi Hao threw a punch, instantly shattering Yi Zhikyu's Black Tortoise Phantom, and struck Yi Zhikyu heavily. Bang! A fierce gust of wind from the punch erupted. Yi Zhikyu's body flew backward like a kite with a broken string, finally falling in a sorry state outside the tavern. You all get lost too. Yi Hao looked at the Kankhui Academy students and withdrew his pressure. Fighting with a bunch of guys who weren't even titled Douluo was simply like playing house, and it didn't interest him in the slightest. Losing the suppression of the pressure, the Kankhui Academy students scrambled out of the tavern, helped up Yi Zhikyu, who was on the ground vomiting blood, and left in a dejected manner. Yi Hao turned around and saw Ning Rongrong staring at him with admiration. Your Excellency Flame Emperor, the way you beat people up is so cool. Ning Rongrong's praise spilled out. She also wanted to be as domineering as Yi Hao just was, sending that old turtle flying with a single punch. Then do you want me to beat you up too? Yi Hao joked. He was a titled Douluo, while Yi Zhikyu was just a spirit king. Any titled Douluo could easily handle him. It was no big deal. What he was really looking forward to was tomorrow's trip to the Stardew Great Forest. Originally, he wanted to go straight into the Stardew Great Forest tonight, but considering that Ning Rongrong and the others might be tired from traveling all day, he decided to stay overnight outside the Stardew Great Forest. You wouldn't dare, my grandpa's sword won't let anyone who bullies me off the hook. Ning Rongrong wasn't afraid and brought up sword Douluo. What happened? The late-arriving Zhao Wuji entered the tavern and found it looking like a battle had taken place, feeling a bit confused. Yi Hao smiled and said, "Nothing happened. Get ready to rest. You'll have to lead the team into the Stardew Great Forest tomorrow." The next morning, Yi Hao and his group left the tavern and officially stepped into the Stardew Great Forest. Zhao Wuji walked at the very front and reminded them, "Don't stray too far from me. Even though it's just the outer perimeter of the Stardew Great Forest, you cannot be careless." His gaze scanned the surroundings, looking for spirit beasts suitable for Ning Rongrong Oscar and Tang San. After walking for a while, a Phoenixdale Crested Serpent flew past rapidly, catching the attention of Zhao Wuji and the others. Tang San had the purple demon eye and could see it more clearly. He felt a bit disappointed and said, "It's a phoenix-tail-crested serpent. It looks like it's only a little over 1,000 years old." He had wanted to see if it was a spirit beast suitable for himself, but the result was a great disappointment. According to the knowledge taught to him by Grandmaster, he wanted to add a poison attribute ability to his third spirit ring to increase the lethality of his blue-silver grass. "It is actually suitable for Little Ao," Zhao Wuji said upon hearing this. His body shot out, and he grabbed the phoenix-tail-crested serpent and threw it in front of Oscar. Discovering that the phoenix-tail-crested serpent had injuries, he had some guesses in his heart and hurriedly urged, "This phoenix-tail-crested serpent is already injured. Little Ao, hurry up and kill it. Delays may lead to complications." If he hadn't guessed wrong, the phoenix-tail-crested serpent should have been someone else's prey, having fled here all the way after being injured. "Okay." Oscar took out a small knife and was about to strike when a hurried voice came at this moment. "Wait a moment." Everyone looked in the direction of the voice and saw a young woman and an old woman approaching rapidly, landing on the other side of the phoenix-tail-crested serpent. Yi Hao's gaze lingered on the two, having already guessed their identities. The young woman had an outstanding appearance and a curvaceous figure. She must be Meng Yuren, who was also hunting for a spirit ring in the Stardew Great Forest. As for the old woman, she could only be Meng Yuren's grandmother, Snake Granny from the Peerless Dragon and Snake Couple. Snake Granny's gaze swept over the small knife in Oscar's hand, then looked at Yi Hao, Ning Rongrong, and the others, and finally her gaze fell on Zhao Wuji. "Old woman Kao Tiangxiang, this is my granddaughter Meng Yuren. Everyone, we discovered this phoenix-tail-crested serpent first, and it was us who severely injured it. Could you please show mercy, give this old woman some face, and yield it to Yuren?" She spoke very politely, but not weakly. Reporting her name was also intended to make the other party retreat in the face of difficulties. Zhao Wuji's pupils shrank slightly upon hearing this. A smile appeared on his face and he cupped his hands. "So it is Senior Snake Granny of the Peerless Dragon and Snake. This junior Zhao Wuji has brought students to the Stardew Great Forest to hunt for spirit rings. This phoenix-tail-crested serpent is very suitable for my student. I also hope Senior Snake Granny can give some face and yield it to my student." While speaking, his eyes scanned the surroundings, looking for that Dragon Duke of the Peerless Dragon and Snake Couple. It was rumored that the Dragon and Snake Couple could unleash the strength of a titled Douluo when joining forces, but if it was only Snake Granny here, then there was nothing to fear. "It is actually the immovable bright King Zhao Wuji." Snake Granny was also surprised. She hadn't expected to run into a tough opponent. Many years ago, when Zhao Wuji was just a spirit emperor, he had escaped from the encirclement of over a dozen spirit emperors from Spirit Hall, becoming famous in one battle. In addition, Zhao Wuji had also been hunted down by Tai Tan, the clan chief of the Strength clan under the Clear Sky sect, and had ultimately managed to escape. His reputation in the Spirit Master's world was quite loud, like a devil king. Meng Yuren had been staring at the phoenix-tail-crested serpent. At this moment, seeing that the life aura of this coveted spirit beast was becoming increasingly weak, she was very anxious. "Grandma, this phoenix-tail-crested serpent is about to die. We must snatch it back as soon as possible." Chapter 27, Oscar kneels. Hearing Meng Yuren's words, Snake Granny Kao Tiangxiang also became anxious. Only the person who kills the spirit beast can absorb its spirit ring. If the phoenix-tail-crested serpent was not killed by Meng Yuren, then the spirit ring produced after its death would be completely lost to her. However, the Dragon Duke was not present, and as merely a 6-ring spirit emperor, she could not gain any advantage against the 7-ring spirit Saint Zhao Wuji. But the situation could not be delayed any longer, so Snake Granny tried both soft and hard tactics. "Zhao Wuji, my old man is also in the Stardew Great Forest. If you are willing to yield the phoenix-tail-crested serpent to us, we can assist your student in hunting for a spirit ring afterward." By bringing up the Dragon Duke as a warning while also offering to help hunt for a spirit ring, she was trying not to make the atmosphere too tense. Oscar gripped the small knife in his hand tightly. Naturally, he was unwilling to give up the third spirit ring that was within his reach. He looked at Zhao Wuji beside him and felt disappointed to see him looking so hesitant. He then looked at Yi Hao, who was leaning against a large tree with a calm and indifferent expression, and suddenly knelt down to plead. "Your Excellency Flame Emperor, could you please help me obtain the spirit ring of this phoenix-tail crested serpent? Oscar will surely remember this favor and never forget it for the rest of his life. From now on, as long as it is an order from Your Excellency Flame Emperor, I, Oscar, will never refuse." Yi Hao was momentarily surprised. In his memory, Oscar wouldn't kneel for a mere spirit ring, would he? When did Oscar become so weak? Could it be that his own appearance had influenced the personalities of these people? Oscar's mindset had changed significantly compared to before. In the past, he always thought that just getting by was fine. After all, it was quite comfortable hanging out with Dai Mubai and Ma Hongzhen every day, until Dai Mubai was trampled under Yi Hao's feet. That scene had such a huge impact on him that the obsession to become stronger suddenly became very intense in his heart. If he could become stronger, could he also be as domineering and surrounded by beauties as Yi Hao? To become stronger, he was willing to discard meaningless things like face. Dai Mubai cherished his face, but in the end, he was trampled underfoot with no face left to speak of, and having his fiancée force a breakup in public meant he had absolutely no dignity. Only the strong are entitled to talk about dignity. Ma Hongzhen, Tang San, Xiao Wu, Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, and Zhao Wuji were also very surprised, not expecting Oscar to kneel and ask Yi Hao for help for the sake of a spirit ring. Of course, this was actually nothing. Kneeling would not cause any actual loss, and if it could really be exchanged for a very good third spirit ring, it could be considered a huge profit. Yi Hao thought for a moment, then smiled. "Oscar, you have impressed me, so I will help you this once. Get up, grip the knife in your hand, and stab it directly into the vital point of the phoenix-tail crested serpent." He had an idea, which was to form his own Spirit Master Academy, to participate in the All-Continent Advanced Spirit Master Elite Tournament. After all, Shrek Academy was just a Bush League academy. It had not received any official certification, and did not have the qualifications to participate in the All-Continent Advanced Spirit Master Elite Tournament. Furthermore, he also wanted to cultivate his own Spirit Master Force. He couldn't just do everything himself in the future. Putting aside Oscar's character, he did have talent, an innate full spirit power food system spirit master with no background. Logically, a commoner genius like Oscar should have been recruited by Spirit Hall. It was unknown what Spirit Hall was plotting all day long. "Thank you, Flame Emperor." Having received Yi Hao's permission, Oscar was overjoyed. He decided to follow Your Excellency Flame Emperor from now on. At the very least, it would be better than his current situation. As for Ning Rongrong, she was already Your Excellency Flame Emperor's woman, so what did that have to do with him? If Your Excellency Flame Emperor wanted him to help push from behind, he could definitely do that too. Oscar quickly stood up, no longer hesitating, and plunged the small knife with all his might into the phoenix-tail crested serpent's scarlet crest. "How dare you!" Snake Granny had been caught off guard by the way Oscar addressed Yi Hao, and seeing that Oscar actually intended to kill the phoenix-tail crested serpent, she immediately spoke out to stop him. Splurred. Oscar acted as if he hadn't heard Snake Granny's cries, stabbing the knife deep into the phoenix-tail crested serpent's body. After struggling for a moment, the phoenix-tail crested serpent lost all movement, and a purple thousand-year spirit ring slowly rose. "You have such great audacity to dare to toy with this old woman." Snake Granny was furious at the sight. She was certain that the conversation between Oscar and Yi Hao just now was an act to deceive her, so that she would be distracted, and they could seize the opportunity to kill the phoenix-tail crested serpent. As for the title, Your Excellency Flame Emperor, it must have been made up. It was impossible for there to be such a young titled Douluo in the world. 6 spirit rings rose beneath Snake Granny's feet, her gaze locked onto Zhao Wuji, her voice filled with anger. "Zhao Wuji, I hope you can give this old woman a reasonable explanation. Otherwise, when Yuren's grandfather arrives, don't blame us for not giving you any face." A look of anger also appeared on Meng Yuren's pretty face, and she glared fiercely at Oscar, who had killed the phoenix-tail crested serpent, and that so-called Your Excellency Flame Emperor. To actually play such tricks to fool her and her grandmother, seizing the opportunity to kill the phoenix-tail crested serpent and claim the spirit ring, despicable. Facing the angry snake granny, Zhao Wuji was surprisingly relaxed. I'm sorry, but since Your Excellency Flame Emperor has spoken, I can only ask you to go and find another suitable spirit beast. It was Yi Hao who had given the order for Oscar to kill the phoenix-tail crested serpent, which meant Yi Hao would handle the aftermath, and it was none of his business. As for whether Yi Hao would be in danger, that was, of course, impossible. Even if the peerless dragon and snake couple joined forces, they would have to back down when facing a real titled Douluo. Snake Granny laughed in extreme anger, but she also knew that she couldn't do anything to Zhao Wuji on her own, so she had to retreat for the moment. Very well, immovable bright King Zhao Wuji, you are still using this, Your Excellency Flame Emperor, to fool this old woman even now. Yuren, let's go. Meng Yuren stomped her feet in defiance, staring at the young man known as Your Excellency Flame Emperor, while gritting her teeth. She would definitely make her grandfather teach this guy a good lesson. After Snake Granny and Meng Yuren left, Zhao Wuji shouted to Oscar. Little Ao, hurry and absorb the spirit ring, otherwise it will be a waste if it dissipates. The time a spirit ring exists is limited. Once time passes, it will dissipate, and there would be nowhere to cry then. Okay. Oscar sat down on the spot and began to absorb the spirit ring. A moment later, the phoenix-tail crested serpent's spirit ring was successfully absorbed, and he possessed his third spirit ring, his spirit power reaching level 31, officially becoming a 3-ring spirit elder. Zhao Wuji smiled and congratulated him. Congratulations, little Ao, you have become a spirit elder. Ma Hongzhen congratulated him with an envious look. Congratulations, but I won't fall too far behind. I will make a breakthrough to level 30 as soon as possible. In the past, he was very negligent in his cultivation, but now, seeing how hard Oscar was working to become stronger, he understood that he could not continue to slack off. He had to become stronger. Congratulations. 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 Tang San, Zyro Wu Zhujuking, and Ning Rongrong also offered their congratulations. Only Zyro Wu sighed slightly when looking at the corpse of the phoenix-tail crested serpent. Must humans and spirit beasts always fight to the death? Chapter 20, 8th Titan Giant Ape. Yi Hao also walked over and asked, "What is your third spirit ability?" Upon hearing this, Oscar demonstrated the mushroom sausage on the spot and explained that after eating it, one could fly at the speed of a phoenix-tail crested serpent for 1 minute, but he could only produce 10 at a time. This could be considered an extremely heaven-defying support system spirit ability for pursuit and escape. In the Douluo Continent, besides flying spirit masters, only titled Douluo could fly through the air. Zhao Wuji sighed with emotion. This is a rare spirit ability that increases group flight capability. It's fortunate that this spirit ring wasn't taken by the granddaughter of the peerless dragon and snake couple. As a spirit saint, he did not possess the ability to fly, and he was always incredibly envious of spirit masters who could, especially since his good brother Flender happened to be a flying spirit master and often showed off in front of him. From now on, as long as Oscar was around, he would also be able to experience the joy of flying. This is all thanks to His Excellency, the Flame Emperor. Oscar rubbed his head and said. He felt grateful to Yi Hao, transforming that trace of jealousy he previously held toward Yi Hao into admiration. Yi Hao did not claim the credit. Do not belittle yourself. It is your talent that granted you such an excellent spirit ability. Even if he weren't here, the phoenix-tail crested serpent's spirit ring would still have fallen to Oscar. However, since Oscar happened to ask him for help, he would just do a favor. It would be a good thing if he could recruit Oscar. Seeing Oscar successfully absorb the third spirit ring and become a spirit elder, Ning Rongrong spoke impatiently. Shouldn't we look for a suitable spirit beast for me to hunt for a spirit ring next? Her mind was already filled with images of how imposing she would look after becoming a spirit elder. A 12-year-old 3-ring spirit elder, and a support system one at that, she could really show off. Yi Hao replied compliantly, Fine, 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 we will hunt for your spirit ring next. But aren't the spirit abilities of your 7-treasure glazed tile pagoda fixed? We just need to find a spirit beast with a suitable age that doesn't conflict with your spirit, right? Ning Rongrong thought about it and felt it made sense. However, generally speaking, it was still necessary to look for spirit beasts whose spirit rings were gentler to absorb, as the physical fitness of an auxiliary system soul master could not compare to other spirit masters. Do we really have to hunt spirit beasts? Zyro Wu's small voice sounded at this moment, appearing somewhat out of place. Her eyes flickered, filled with a look of reluctance. The spirit beasts of the Stardew Great Forest were considered her kin, yet now she had to hunt spirit beasts with humans. It was inevitable that she would feel some reluctance in her heart. Tang-san said solemnly, Zyro Wu, hunting spirit beasts is a natural and right thing to do. Later, I also need to hunt a spirit beast to obtain my third spirit ring and become a spirit elder. He just assumed it was Zyro Wu's girlish kindness and empathy flaring up, and didn't think much of it. Yi Hao knew it was normal for Zyro Wu to feel a sense of shared sorrow. After all, Zyro Wu was also a spirit beast, but spirit masters had to hunt for spirit rings to become stronger. He comforted her, this is also a helpless move. All we can do is not kill spirit beasts indiscriminately beyond hunting for spirit rings. Perhaps in the future, there will be a way to obtain spirit rings without hunting spirit beasts, but it's not possible right now. Upon hearing this, Zyro Wu nodded and forced a smile. I know, everyone, don't worry about it. Afterward, the group set off again to find a suitable spirit ring for Ning Rongrong. It was just that the spirit beasts seemed to have become much fewer. The 1,000-year spirit beasts they saw along the way were very rare, and finding one suitable for Ning Rongrong was even harder. Zhao Wuji looked at the sky that was starting to darken and suggested, His Excellency the Flame Emperor, why don't we rest here for now? The Stardew Great Forest at night would be even more dangerous. Of course, they were in the outer perimeter, so it should still be relatively safe, and it wouldn't be easy to run into powerful spirit beasts. Yi Hao felt the forest becoming increasingly quiet and guessed that a powerful spirit beast must have arrived at the outer perimeter, and it was very likely the king of the forest, the Titan giant ape. He smiled and said, we might not have time to rest. Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, and the others were all confused upon hearing this, not understanding what Yi Hao meant. Only Zyro Wu looked in a certain direction, as if sensing something, a trace of nervousness appearing on her beautiful face. Ming, don't come looking for me at this time, otherwise a great battle might break out. Boom booms boom. The ground trembled slightly, and dull footsteps sounded at this moment. Now Zhao Wuji, Ning Rongrong, and the others also sensed the abnormality. This sound didn't seem like a human, it was more like some massive spirit beast was approaching. Everyone be on guard, a powerful spirit beast might be approaching. Zhao Wuji shouted in a low voice, standing ready, his gaze scanning the surroundings vigilantly. This was the Stardew Great Forest. If they were truly unlucky to the extreme, even in the outer perimeter, it wasn't impossible to run into a powerful spirit beast. With his strength, dealing with a 10,000-year spirit beast was fine, but if he ran into a multi-10,000-year spirit beast, he would fall into a very dangerous situation. Oscar covered his face with both hands, appearing very nervous. This is the outer perimeter of the Stardew Great Forest. Our luck can't be that bad, right? He had only just obtained his third spirit ring. He didn't want to die so young. Yi Hao looked ahead, don't panic, because panicking is useless. It's already here. No sooner had he finished speaking than the large trees in front were snapped by two giant palms, and then a massive behemoth appeared before their eyes. This was a spirit beast that looked like an ape, and also like a chimpanzee, standing over 10 meters tall. Not only was its body massive, but every part of its body was covered in strong, robust muscles even more terrifying than granite, bulging like small hills. 100,000-year soul beast, Titan giant ape. This is a Titan giant ape. Tang-san spoke tremblingly, his heart filled with fear. He had learned quite a bit of theoretical knowledge from Grandmaster, and he knew very clearly how powerful the bloodline of the Titan giant ape was. This was the well-deserved king of the forest of the Stardew Great Forest, a true spirit beast king. Oscar and Ma Hongjun were even more terrified to the point of stupidity. That massive oppressive force almost made them lose the ability to think. It was their first time seeing such a terrifying spirit beast, and they couldn't even summon the slightest thought of resisting. Zhu Zhuqing and Ning Rongrong were also extremely nervous. It wasn't until they saw Yi Hao, who was standing to their front side, still looking relaxed that they relaxed slightly. After the initial panic, Zhao Wuji forced himself to calm down. He knew very well that the guy in front of him was the king of the Stardew Great Forest. Theoretically, it shouldn't appear in the outer perimeter, and it was unlikely it came specifically to target them. So he looked up at the Titan giant ape's huge face and squeezed out a smile. "Respected king of the forest, we mean no offense. If we have disturbed you, we will leave immediately." High cultivation spirit beasts could understand human language, and even possessed intelligence not inferior to humans, which is why he tried to communicate with the Titan giant ape before them. The Titan giant ape's eyes, which were larger than lanterns, swept over Yi Hao, Zhao Wuji, Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, Oscar Ma Hongzhen, and Tang San, and finally landed on Xiao Wu. Immediately afterward, it let out a deafening roar. Roar! Chapter 29, Flame Emperor Finger. The terrifying sound wave, carrying vast fluctuations of spirit power, blew Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, Oscar Ma Hongzhen, and Tang San away. "Run, I will block him." Zhao Wuji mistakenly thought the Titan giant ape was about to launch an attack, so he immediately activated his spirit, the vigorous Vajra Bear, revealing his 7 spirit rings, and prepared for a desperate fight. However, the Titan giant ape simply smashed down with a fist, sending him flying dozens of meters away. Even a regular titled Douluo could only avoid the edge of a 100,000-year soul beast, as its combat power was comparable to a super Douluo. Detected the approach of the 100,000-year soul beast, Titan giant ape. "This is an opportunity to test the spirit master's combat power. Host, please drive it back." Mission reward: Fallen Heart Flame, Flame-Splitting Tsunami Ruler. Hearing the system sound, a smile appeared on Yi Hao's face. As expected, the Titan giant ape was capable of triggering a system mission. He hadn't made a move earlier precisely because he was waiting for the mission to trigger. Now that the mission had arrived, it was time for him to step onto the stage and perform. "You all step back, leave this to me." Just as Zhao Wuji and the others were feeling desperate, Yi Hao's voice finally rang out, bringing them hope. "Retreat quickly, do not hinder the battle of His Excellency, the Flame Emperor." Zhao Wuji shouted, leading Oscar and the others to retreat into the distance. A battle between a titled Douluo and a 100,000-year soul beast was not something they could participate in. Even just watching required maintaining a safe distance. "Titan giant ape, thank you for bringing me rewards, so next, I am going to beat you up hard." Facing the Titan giant ape, which was countless times larger than himself, Yi Hao's face was beaming with a smile. Beneath his feet, one spirit ring after another rose, and among them, that red spirit ring was particularly eye-catching. Purple, 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 black, 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 red. A 9-ringed titled Douluo. The Titan giant ape's massive eyes stared fixedly at the 9 spirit rings on the human youth before it, feeling it was incredible. Even though humans cultivate faster than soul beasts, such a young titled Douluo was too outrageous, and he even possessed a 100,000-year spirit ring. This child is a great enemy of the soul beasts. The Titan giant ape had originally only wanted to drive the others away and take Xiao Wu, but now, seeing that Yi Hao not only had 9 spirit rings, but also possessed a 100,000-year spirit ring, its eyes completely changed. It was itself a 100,000-year soul beast, and knew deeply how difficult it was for a soul beast to cultivate to 100,000 years. A soul beast of the same level as itself had become the spirit ring for the human before it, causing the hostility in its heart to erupt suddenly. "Kill!" The Titan giant ape raised its pair of massive arms high and smashed them down toward Yi Hao. Bang! The earth shook, dust flew, and the ground cracked open with one fissure after another, resembling a giant spider web, with 2 massive fist marks at the center. However, there was no sign of Yi Hao. "Titan giant ape, where are you looking?" Yi Hao's voice rang out in the air. He was seen standing in midair, his entire body burning with cyan and red dual-colored flames, and a pair of flame wings had manifested behind him. Just moments ago, when the Titan giant ape's attack descended, he had activated his 5th spirit ability, Undying Flame Wings, and simultaneously used Explosive Step, dodging and rapidly flying into the air in an instant. Hearing Yi Hao's voice, the Titan giant ape looked up, only to be met with a massive flaming fist. Third spirit ability, Fire Fist. Boom! The Titan giant ape erupted with vast spirit power and blocked with its arms in front of its body, forcefully withstanding this blow. However, its arms were clearly burned. Withstanding the Fire Fist just now had not been easy. Ning Rongrong and the others, who had already retreated 1,000 meters away, looked toward the battlefield ahead with some trepidation. Just the overflowing fluctuations of spirit power made them tremble with fear. It was hard to imagine how powerful both sides of the battle were. In their hands, they all had the mushroom sausage that Oscar had just created using his third spirit ability. If the situation turned bad, they would immediately eat them and flee. Ning Rongrong was very worried. Teacher Zhao, do you think His Excellency, the Flame Emperor, can win? She knew Yi Hao was very powerful, but the Titan giant ape also held a renowned reputation. It was a king among soul beasts. Zhao Wuji also felt a bit uncertain, speaking according to his own knowledge. If it is a 100,000-year Titan giant ape, it can at least contend with a level 95 Super Douluo. However, even though His Excellency, the Flame Emperor's spirit power cultivation has not reached level 95, he does possess a 100,000-year spirit ring and a special spirit, so he should be able to hold his own. The gap between titled Douluo is also immense. Levels 91 to 94 are ordinary Douluo, levels 95 to 98 are Super Douluo, and level 99 is a limit Douluo. Believe in His Excellency, the Flame Emperor. Zhu Qing was also worried about Yi Hao's safety, but she still walked over to comfort Ning Rongrong. Only Tang San, while using his purple demon eye to observe the battle between Yi Hao and the Titan giant ape, was constantly cursing Yi Hao in his heart. He hoped that Yi Hao and the Titan giant ape would both be severely injured, or better yet, die together. In that way, he would not only be rid of Yi Hao as a major enemy, but also the danger posed by the Titan giant ape, and he could even obtain a spirit bone from the Titan giant ape's corpse. A 100,000-year spirit bone was an incredibly rare existence, with inestimable value. On the battlefield, the Titan giant ape, facing Yi Hao who had flown into the air, smashed its arms against the ground and unleashed a domain skill. Gravity Control Domain. It could control the gravity within the range of the domain, wanting to use this to force Yi Hao to descend to the ground. Gravity. Feeling the gravity suddenly surge, Yi Hao was not flustered in the slightest. His undying flame wings were sufficient to resist this level of gravity, and at most, his movement speed would be restricted. Instead, there was a look of excitement in his eyes. Yi Hao had cultivated his Flame Emperor martial soul for over a decade, and it was not as if he lacked his own insights. Apart from the Buddha's Fury Fire Lotus and the Heavenly Flame 3 mysterious transformations, he also possessed true self-created spirit abilities. Now was the time to test the power of this self-created spirit ability. The Titan giant ape below, seeing that unleashing the gravity domain also failed to make Yi Hao descend, had no choice but to raise its arms high and condense its spirit power. Between its arms, immense spirit power condensed, and then it transformed into a shockwave that blasted out, bombarding toward Yi Hao in the air. Titan Firmament Cannon. This blow was sufficient to annihilate any existence below the level of a Super Douluo. Even a level 95 Super Douluo would not dare to withstand it head-on. Only a level 96 Super Douluo might possibly block it frontally. Facing the Titan giant ape's massive, momentum-filled attack, Yi Hao had also long since condensed endless flames, and at this moment he pointed a finger downward. The green Lotus core flame and the 10,000 beast spirit fire collided and merged rapidly in the air, condensing into a sky-supporting giant finger even larger than the Titan giant ape, suppressing downward. Flame Emperor's Finger. One finger and all living beings kneel. In the distance, Ning Rongrong, Zhu Qing, Zyro Wu, Zhao Wuji, and the others saw this shocking scene, and their breathing stopped. The next instant, the giant finger burning with boundless flames collided with the spirit power shockwave in the air, erupting with blinding light. Boom! The world-destroying spirit power shockwave raged in all directions, and everything it passed was reduced to powder. The soul beasts and plants that could not dodge in time were instantly turned to ashes, and the earth collapsed layer by layer. "Not good, retreat quickly." Zhao Wuji shouted, quickly ate the mushroom sausage in his hand, grew a pair of translucent wings on his back, and rapidly flew into the air to flee into the distance. Enning Rongrong, Zhuking Oscar, Zyro Wu Ma Hongjun, and Tang San also ate their mushroom sausages and flew away from the location, retreating further into the distance. They had originally thought that maintaining a safe distance of 1,000 meters would be enough, but they hadn't expected to still underestimate Yi Hao and the Titan giant ape. They were still being affected even from 1,000 meters away. Is this the battle between the top powerhouses of the Douluo Continent? Chapter 30, heavily damaging the Titan giant ape. The terrifying impact of flames and spirit power raged for a full quarter of an hour before slowly subsiding. Within a radius of 1 kilometer, the land had turned into scorched earth, emanating a scorching heat. Enning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuking, and the others who had retreated further away fixed their eyes on the center of the battlefield, astonishment appearing in their beautiful eyes. Oscar and Zhao Wuji also exclaimed in succession. Heavens, the power of Yi Hao's finger just now was simply too strong. It was like the might of heaven. One strike defeated the Titan giant ape. Tang San and Ma Hongjun did not speak, but they were also visibly shocked. That was the Titan giant ape, the king of the forest, yet it had ended up in such a miserable state. Only Zyro Wu had tears in her eyes, her fair, slender hands covering her mouth, tears streaming down her cheeks uncontrollably. Ming. In the center of the scorched area ahead, the massive body of the Titan giant ape was half kneeling on the ground, one thick arm stubbornly propping up the ground to prevent itself from collapsing completely. Its other arm hung limp, flesh mangled, bones clearly visible, with blood flowing freely. Furthermore, its entire body was severely burned, with no part left intact. Many areas were completely charred, emitting the smell of charcoal. Compared to the miserable state of the Titan giant ape on the ground, Yi Hao in the air was in a completely different state. He was not only unscathed, but his clothes were barely even dirty. Bathing in cyan and red flames, Yi Hao gently spread his undying flame wings, his figure appearing in the midair in front of the Titan giant ape as if by teleportation, his gaze calm as he locked eyes with the Titan giant ape. The outcome of the duel had been decided. Now, he only needed to make a slight move to finish off the heavily injured Titan giant ape. Yi Hao was very satisfied with the Flame Emperor finger, spirit ability he had comprehended and created. Just now, he hadn't even used the Heavenly Flame 3 mysterious transformations. With a rank 92 spirit power, he had used one finger to crush the powerful Titan firmament cannon and heavily injure the Titan giant ape, which possessed immense defensive power. The power of that finger was comparable to a rank 97 Super Douluo. Being able to unleash a terrifying self-created spirit ability that crossed 5 ranks of combat power at the titled Douluo level, Flame Emperor Finger was undoubtedly one of his strongest trump cards. You lost, Titan Giant Ape. Yi Hao knew that the Titan Giant Ape could understand human speech, so he spoke slowly, his tone indifferent. Defeating the Titan Giant Ape was not a feat worth celebrating for him. What could make him happy was the mission reward for repelling the Titan Giant Ape. Now that the mission was not yet complete, it meant that repelling did not require defeating the opponent, but forcing it to retreat. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribers, and share to Infinite Novel Audio. The Titan Giant Ape let out a roar. It was furious, unwilling to admit defeat, and wanted to continue fighting. Thump! But as soon as it moved, its injured arm could no longer support its massive body, and it collapsed heavily to the ground. Wu Tilda. The Titan Giant Ape let out a painful whimper and turned its head to look for Zyro Wu. Seeing that Zyro Wu was safe and sound in the distance, its emotions slowly calmed down. Zyro Wu had been watching the Titan Giant Ape. Seeing the Titan Giant Ape look at her, she felt immense grief and pain in her heart. She had grown up with Da Ming and Ming and had always treated them like younger brothers. Now, seeing Ming come to find her only to end up in such a miserable state, she felt incredibly guilty. Tang San spoke coldly at this moment. This Titan Giant Ape is still staring at us even after falling down. What a reckless beast. Seeing Yi Hao easily defeat the Titan Giant Ape without ending up in a mutually destructive situation, he felt that the Titan giant ape was just an overrated piece of trash. Seeing it still staring at them after being defeated made him even more annoyed. Upon hearing Tang San's words, Zyro Wu turned to stare at him. Tears welled up in her slightly red eyes, and suppressing her anger, she questioned. "Third brother, do you hate the Titan giant ape that much? It shouldn't have any grudges against you, right?" Tang San was stunned. He didn't expect Zyro Wu, who had always been obedient to him, to question him for the sake of a spirit beast. He spoke in confusion. "Zyro Wu, what's wrong with you? This Titan giant ape suddenly popped out to attack us earlier. Of course, there is a grudge. If it weren't for it, I might have already obtained a suitable spirit ring and become a spirit elder by now." Upon hearing this, Zyro Wu did not refute anything. She smiled self-deprecatingly and then sprinted towards the Titan giant ape at full speed. She had to stop Yi Hao from killing the Titan giant ape. It was her younger brother. Yi Hao also noticed Zyro Wu rushing over. Knowing that she likely wanted to save the Titan giant ape's life, he decided to do her a favor. For the sake of the mission, he wouldn't kill the Titan giant ape right now anyway, so he decided to wait for Zyro Wu to beg him before letting it go. In this way, not only could he get the mission reward, but he could also earn a favor from Zyro Wu. The favor of a transformed 100,000-year soul beast was also worth a lot. To make the act more realistic, when Zyro Wu was about to get close, Yi Hao condensed a heavy ruler with his strange fire, then held it and made a fierce chopping motion towards the Titan giant ape's head. "Wait!" At this moment, Zyro Wu's urgent cry rang out. Yi Hao's movement paused. He stopped slowly, turned to look at the rushing Zyro Wu and feigned confusion. "Zyro Wu, what's the matter?" His 9 spirit rings were dazzling, emitting a powerful sense of oppression, as if he was determined to behead the Titan giant ape today. Zyro Wu arrived panting, looked up at Yi Hao's figure in midair, and asked timidly, "Yi Hao, can you please spare the Titan giant ape?" Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, Zhao Wuji, Oscar, Ma Hongzhen, and Tang San also followed behind as Zyro Wu hurried over. Hearing Zyro Wu's words at this moment, they were all stunned. A 100,000-year soul beast was incredibly dangerous to Spirit Master, but it was also a precious treasure trove. First, there was the 100,000-year spirit ring. Even most titled Douluo did not possess one. It could grant a Spirit Master powerful spirit power and 2 powerful spirit ability, equivalent to having an extra spirit ability compared to ordinary Spirit Masters of the same rank. Then there was the 100,000-year spirit bone. After fusion, a Spirit Master could also obtain 2 powerful spirit ability and immense spirit power. From a certain perspective, it was even more precious than a 100,000-year spirit ring. Because spirit bone could be passed down as a legacy, if one absorbed it, it could be passed on to future generations after death. For a family, it was also a rare treasure. And a 100,000-year soul beast would definitely produce a spirit bone. In other words, a 100,000-year soul beast could bring 4 powerful spirit ability and immense spirit power. Because of this, no Spirit Master would give up on a 100,000-year soul beast that was within their grasp. Zhao Wuji said in a deep voice, "Zyro Wu, do you know what you are saying? This is a 100,000-year soul beast, the Titan giant ape. Even if Yi Hao doesn't need to absorb the spirit ring, the spirit bone can still be used for fusion." Yi Hao already had his 9th spirit ring, so naturally he could not absorb the Titan giant ape's spirit ring, but the spirit bone was different. It would not be wasted. Even if he couldn't use it, he could keep it for other purposes. It wouldn't dissipate like a spirit ring if no one absorbed it. Tang San was afraid that Zyro Wu would anger Yi Hao and implicate him, so he quickly persuaded her. "Zyro Wu, don't pity this Titan giant ape. It attacked us first. It deserves to die." Chapter 31, Fallen Heart Flame. "Shut up." This was the first time Zyro Wu had been angry at Tang San, and she couldn't help but shout at him. She was becoming increasingly disappointed with Tang San. It seemed that ever since entering Shrek Academy, Tang San had become someone she couldn't understand. "Zyro Wu, you." Tang San was stunned by Zyro Wu's rebuke, and immediately after, anger surged within him. She had told him to shut up in front of so many people. Didn't he have any face? If she weren't his younger sister, she would already be on the path to death. Seeing Xiao Wu lose her temper at Tang San, Yi Hao was amused and spoke slowly. "All right, I haven't even spoken yet. What are you all so anxious about?" With Yi Hao having spoken, Tang San immediately shut his mouth and didn't say another word. He quietly took a step back, distancing himself from Xiao Wu, as if afraid of being implicated by her. Xiao Wu naturally noticed Tang San's small movement. She mocked herself inwardly, wondering if she had been blind before, not realizing that Tang San was so hypocritical, and even acknowledged him as her brother. Oscar looked at the Titan giant ape lying before him, feeling even more admiration for Yi Hao. This is a 100,000-year-soul beast Titan giant ape. It's truly hard to imagine that such a king of spirit beasts could be defeated by someone. Everyone respects the strong, and he, as an auxiliary system soul master, was no exception. Beside them, Zhu Zhuqing's beautiful eyes were fixed on Yi Hao in midair, her admiration clearly revealed. She suddenly realized that she didn't actually mind having been betrothed to someone since childhood, provided that the object of the betrothal was His Excellency, the Flame Emperor. At this moment, Ning Rongrong also proudly puffed out her small chest, as if she were the one who had defeated the Titan giant ape. "When I go home and tell my father later, he will definitely find it hard to believe that I actually witnessed the Titan giant ape being defeated." Listening to the exclamations of those around her, Xiao Wu felt increasingly uneasy. But she still gathered her courage and pleaded once more. "Your Excellency the Flame Emperor, as long as you are willing to spare the Titan giant ape, I will do anything." If that didn't work, she was willing to trade her own spirit ring and spirit bone for Ming's spirit ring and spirit bone. As a 100,000-year soul beast that had transformed into human form, her value was no lower than that of the Titan giant ape. Ning Rongrong was very confused. "Xiao Wu, why must you insist that His Excellency the Flame Emperor spare this Titan giant ape?" Even if Xiao Wu was kind-hearted and held compassion for spirit beasts, it shouldn't go so far as to make Yi Hao give up a 100,000-year soul beast he had defeated himself, right? The Titan giant ape's large eyes looked at Xiao Wu, filled with unwillingness and anger. It did not want Xiao Wu to humble herself and plead with a human for the sake of its life. Xiao Wu did not answer Ning Rongrong, only looking at Yi Hao stubbornly. Others didn't know she was a 100,000-year soul beast in human form, but Yi Hao knew, and he should be very clear about her value. Yi Hao looked down at Xiao Wu. "Are you sure?" He thought to himself that the bond between Xiao Wu and Ming was actually this deep, to the point where she even had the thought of sacrificing herself to save Ming. "I am sure," Xiao Wu answered without hesitation. As long as she could save Ming, she could give up her own life. Anyway, when she transformed into a human and entered human society, she had already prepared herself mentally to be hunted by humans. After a spirit beast transforms into a human, trying to gain a foothold and grow in human society is a very difficult thing. It is like walking on thin ice. Yi Hao asked, "Why do you want to save the Titan giant ape?" Xiao Wu was silent for a moment before speaking. "It is very pitiful." Ming was too pitiful. Just to see her once, it ended up in such a state, and she had to save it. Yi Hao nodded and called out to Ming, who was lying on the ground, "Titan giant apes, you may leave. I am not currently in need of a spirit ring, and killing you would only result in a spirit bone, while the spirit ring would dissipate in vain, which would be too much of a waste. Strive to live on. When someone around me needs a 100,000-year spirit ring in the future, I will come to the Stardew Great Forest to find you again." He was sparing Ming temporarily to complete the task, and incidentally make Xiao Wu owe him a favor, but that didn't mean he would let Ming go in the future. If one day someone very important to him needed a 100,000-year spirit ring, he would still come after Ming. "Many thanks, Your Excellency the Flame Emperor." Xiao Wu wept with joy. She nodded slightly at Ming, signaling for Ming to leave quickly. Seeing this, Ming used its last bit of strength to drag its heavily injured body and struggled to stand up. The desire to survive erupted with astonishing power at this moment. It took a deep look at Yi Hao, as if to remember his appearance, and then turned and fled toward the depths of the Stardew Great Forest. Watching the Titan giant ape escape, Ma Hongjun felt it was a great pity. This is a 100,000-year soul beast, and it was just let go like that. Ordinary spirit masters could only flee in panic when facing a 100,000-year soul beast. They had no power to defeat it, let alone hunt for a spirit bone. Even the wealthiest sect in the world, the Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School, had never possessed a 100,000-year spirit bone. Yet Yi Hao had just defeated the Titan giant ape. A 100,000-year spirit bone was within reach, yet he gave it up with his own hands. This was the most precious treasure for a spirit master, capable of instantly increasing one's strength significantly. Even though Zhao Wuji, Oscar, Zhu Zhuqing, and Ning Rongrong were just bystanders, they all felt regret for Yi Hao. Thank you. Zyro Wu thanked Yi Hao once again, feeling grateful from the bottom of her heart. She had also prepared herself to sacrifice herself. If Yi Hao wanted her spirit bone later, she would not refuse. Yi Hao revealed a friendly smile. You're welcome, just remember what you said today. He indeed had the thought of hunting Zyro Wu and Ming to seize their spirit bones, but he quickly dismissed it. The abilities attached to spirit bones might be powerful for an ordinary titled Douluo, but they didn't hold that much appeal for him. It was better to keep Zyro Wu and Ming to trigger system tasks. The heavenly flames and abilities rewarded by the tasks were far more useful than the spirit abilities from spirit bones and spirit rings. Successfully repelled the Titan giant ape, task completed, rewarded with Fallen Heart Flame, flame-splitting tsunami ruler. Hearing the system's voice, Yi Hao couldn't help but let his lips curl up, a smile harder to suppress than an AK. There was no help for it, the reward was simply too tempting, and it was simply not comparable to a 100,000-year spirit bone. The Fallen Heart Flame was a heavenly flame ranked much higher than the Green Lotus Core Flame and the 10,000 Beast Spirit Fire, and it would boost his strength even more. Yi Hao instructed Zhao Wuji and the others, let's set up tents and spend the night here first. Tomorrow morning we will go to find a suitable spirit beast for Ning Rongrong. Spending the night in the Stardew Great Forest was undoubtedly a very dangerous thing, but with him here, it no longer posed any danger. Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, and Zyro Wu set up one large tent, while Ma Hongjun, Tang San, and Oscar set up another large tent. Zhao Wuji and Yi Hao each had their own tent, but Zhao Wuji took the initiative to stand guard outside the tents and did not sleep. Yi Hao couldn't be bothered with Zhao Wuji and went alone to a place 1,000 meters away, taking out a colorless, transparent flame. Ranked 14th on the Heavenly Flame ranking, the Fallen Heart Flame. This is the Fallen Heart Flame. Yi Hao suppressed his excitement, grabbed the Fallen Heart Flame, and refined it instantly. A quarter of an hour later, he suddenly opened his eyes, and within his pupils there seemed to be an invisible flame burning. Success! Chapter 32 Tang San, I Fight Yi Hao. Yi Hao extended his right hand, and a flame, resembling glazed glass and formed from the fusion of the Green Lotus Core Flame, 10,000 Beast Spirit Fire, and Fallen Heart Flame, emerged from his palm. Successfully mastering the third exotic flame filled him with immense joy. His spirit power rank did not increase, but his combat strength had undoubtedly improved significantly. Looking across the entire Douluo Continent, there were truly not many people left who could pose a threat to him. The next morning, having spent the entire night cultivating, Yi Hao returned to their overnight spot and found that Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, Oscar, Ma Hongjun, Tang San, and Zhao Wuji were already awake. As for Zyro Wu, her eyes were red and swollen, she likely hadn't slept all night. Let's set off and hunt for a spirit ring. Following Yi Hao's command, the group continued to travel through the Stardew Great Forest. An hour later, a 1,000-year-old spirit deer appeared in front of them. What a beautiful little deer! Seeing the spirit deer, Ning Rongrong's eyes sparkled with stars. Yi Hao smiled and said, then let this spirit deer become your spirit ring. As he spoke, he raised his hand, unleashing a powerful suction force that rapidly drew the spirit deer toward him, and then he grabbed it. Suction palm. Little deer, become my spirit ring. Ning Rongrong looked at the spirit deer before her, feeling very satisfied. About half an hour later, a third spirit ring appeared on Ning Rongrong. Yellow, yellow, purple. She had officially become a 3-ring spirit elder, and her spirit power rank had reached level 32. As expected, there was still some spirit power left after consuming the sacred soul grass earlier. Zhu Zhuqing, who was usually cold and quiet, stepped forward and smilingly congratulated her. Congratulations, Rongrong, on becoming the youngest 3-ring spirit elder among us. Ning Rongrong was very proud. Father definitely wouldn't have expected me to become a spirit elder in such a short time after leaving. I really wish he could see this moment right now. A 12-year-old spirit elder, regardless of which faction she was in, was a well-deserved genius, and her father could no longer say she didn't work hard to cultivate. Seeing that Ning Rongrong had also successfully obtained her 3rd spirit ring and become a spirit elder, Tang Hao could no longer hold back and asked, "Your Excellency Flame Emperor, should it be my turn now?" He harbored resentment toward Yi Hao in his heart, but he also understood that obtaining a suitable spirit ring in the Stardew Great Forest was not an easy task. Unless he had the help of an expert like Yi Hao. Yi Hao looked puzzled. "Your turn? What do you mean, your turn?" He didn't remember promising Tang Hao anything. Tang Hao was stunned, then squeezed out a smile. "Of course, it's to obtain my 3rd spirit ring. Now that Oscar and Ning Rongrong have both obtained their 3rd spirit rings, the next step should be to hunt for a suitable 3rd spirit ring for me." He was seething with anger inside, but he held it back, not daring to show it. Hearing Tang San's words, Yi Hao felt confused and sneered. "Tang San, when did I ever say I would hunt for your 3rd spirit ring?" Tang San was far too blindly confident to actually think about having a dignified titled Douluo like him hunt for a spirit ring for him. Where did he get the nerve? Tang San was dumbfounded. This wasn't what he had imagined. Weren't they all out here to hunt for spirit rings together? Why was there differential treatment? Ning Rongrong laughed out loud, feeling that Tang San was like a clown humiliating himself. Zhu Zhuqing also glanced coldly at Tang San, feeling that this person was completely oblivious. He was just a mere spirit grandmaster. What gave him the right to think that a titled Douluo should naturally hunt for a spirit ring for him? It wasn't impossible to hire a titled Douluo to hunt for a spirit ring, but the fee was exceptionally expensive, and it also required owing a favor. Otherwise, why would a high and mighty titled Douluo hunt for a spirit ring for a level 30 spirit master with whom they had no connection? Even Zyro Wu felt that Tang San was being embarrassing. Before setting off from Shrek Academy, Yi Hao had already stated that Zhao Wuji would lead the team to hunt for spirit rings. Yi Hao had only decided to come to the Stardew Great Forest to help hunt for Ning Rongrong's spirit ring, and had never said he would hunt for anyone else's. Yesterday, Oscar had been willing to kneel and promise to follow Yi Hao's orders in the future, just to beg for his help in obtaining a spirit ring, yet Tang San asked without offering anything, simply acting as if everyone owed him something. Oscar felt embarrassed for Tang San and offered a friendly reminder. "Tang San, you seem to have misunderstood something. It should be Teacher Zhao leading us to hunt for spirit rings, not His Excellency Flame Emperor." Zhao Wuji spoke up at this moment to smooth things over. "Tang San, I am enough to hunt for your spirit ring. There is no need to trouble His Excellency Flame Emperor." There was no helping it. Tang San was the disciple of Flender's good friend Yu Xirogang, so he had to look after him a bit. Tang San took the opportunity Zhao Wuji offered to step down. "It was my impatience that made me brash. Then I will trouble Teacher Zhao." In his heart, he held a grudge against Yi Hao for almost making him lose face in front of so many people, like a joke. "Yi Hao, you have already paved your own path to deaths." Detected that the task target Tang San's hostility toward the host has significantly increased. The task reward has changed. Heavy Fist Strike task reward. All spirit rings age increased by 10,000 years. Oh, the task reward has been upgraded. Yi Hao was a bit surprised. He had intended to wait until Tang San became a spirit elder before taking action to complete the task. Now it seemed there was no need to wait. This guy Tang San was harboring resentment toward him again, which instead caused the reward to upgrade early. Thinking that his spirit ring configuration would soon become 8 black and 1 red, Yi Hao couldn't resist wanting to beat up Tang San, and he immediately shouted, Wait a moment. Hearing Yi Hao's words, Tang San felt a surge of joy, guessing that Yi Hao had changed his mind and was going to hunt for a spirit ring for him. In his eyes, Zhao Wuji was still too useless, and only having a titled Douluo hunt for a spirit ring for him would be guaranteed. He tentatively asked, "Your Excellency Flame Emperor, have you changed your mind?" Enning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, Zyro Wu Oscar Ma Hongjun, and Zhao Wuji also looked at Yi Hao, wondering if he had truly changed his mind and was going to hunt for a spirit ring for Tang San. As it turned out, the next second, they realized they had thought too much. They saw a bright smile on Yi Hao's face. "I have indeed changed my mind. I have decided to test your practical combat ability as a spirit master before Zhao Wuji takes you to hunt for your third spirit ring." What? Tang San was stunned again, somewhat doubting if he had misheard. "A titled Douluo like you wants to test my practical combat ability. What does that mean? Could it be that I am to fight Yi Hao?" Zhao Wuji also didn't quite understand Yi Hao's meaning and asked uncertainly, "Your Excellency Flame Emperor, do you mean that you want Tang San to spar with you?" He remembered very well that when Yi Hao participated in the Shrek Academy entrance examination, he had beaten him up terribly with his bare hands without using his spirit. Now, Yi Hao was clearly even stronger than he was back then. Even the 100,000-year-old Titan giant ape had been beaten up by Yi Hao yesterday. Was he really a suitable opponent for Tang San? Correct. Yi Hao readily confirmed. Immediately after, he released a vast, ocean-like spirit power, and 9 spirit rings rose from beneath his feet one after another. Purple, 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 black, 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 red. Tang San swallowed hard, feeling as if the sky had collapsed, and squeezed out a smile that looked worse than crying. "Your Excellency Flame Emperor, wouldn't it be inappropriate for me to spar with you?" Chapter 33, Beating Up Tang San. Yi Hao revealed a kind smile and offered comfort. "Rest assured, I won't bully you. I won't use any spirit ability beyond my second spirit ring. 2 rings against 2 rings, the advantage is with you." Tang San really wanted to cry. 2 rings against 2 rings, was the advantage really with him? Yi Hao didn't want to waste time with Tang San's chatter and said directly, "Enough talk, let's begin." Enning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, Ma Hongjun, Oscar, and Zhao Wuji all cleared the area, eyes wide with curiosity as they looked at Yi Hao and Tang San. They really wanted to know how long Tang San could last against Yi Hao, or rather, how many moves he could withstand. Tang San knew today's battle was unavoidable, so he could only bite the bullet and step up. Rank 30, Spirit Grandmaster, Tang San. The only thing he could use to comfort himself was that Yi Hao was also only using 2 spirit rings, so perhaps he wouldn't lose too miserably. Seeing this, Yi Hao said solemnly, "Rank 92, 9-ring titled Douluo Yi Hao." Whoosh! As his voice fell, Yi Hao's figure suddenly shot out, instantly closing the distance to Tang San, and threw a fierce punch. Explosive Step was not a spirit ability, so using it didn't count as breaking the rules. Tang San couldn't react in time. The hair on his body stood on end. He moved his feet, trying to use the ghost shadow perplexing track to dodge. But he couldn't avoid it. Bang! A solid punch landed on Tang San's chest. The terrifying impact caused the large tree behind Tang San to shatter from the shockwave. Immediately after, Tang San's body flew out like a cannonball, snapping a large tree before crashing to the ground. He struggled to get up from the ground, feeling as if his internal organs had been shattered. Explosive Step. Yi Hao's figure struck again, raising his hand to grab at Tang San's head. Suddenly, countless blue-silver grass broke through the ground, winding upward toward Yi Hao. Tang San unleashed his first spirit ability. Blue-silver binding. At the same time, Tang San's second spirit ring lit up, and seeds flew out. Second spirit ability, Parasite. However, glass-like flames suddenly ignited on Yi Hao's body. The moment the seeds and the blue-silver grass vines approached, they turned to ash. Yi Hao wasn't blocked in the slightest. Even with Tang San using the ghost shadow perplexing track, he was caught up in an instant. He grabbed Tang San by the face and slammed him forcefully into the ground. Self-created physical technique move, seafloor drop. Bang! Tang San slammed heavily onto the ground, blood spraying out, only to be evaporated the next instant. He curled up on the ground, feeling as if his bones had been smashed apart. Even so, he didn't give up the chance to counterattack. The sleeve arrows on the back of his hands activated, and 3 bone-piercing needles shot out. But in front of the exotic fire, hidden weapons were destined to be laughable. The bone-piercing needles were melted and evaporated the moment they touched Yi Hao's protective exotic fire, unable to even damage his clothes. Seeing this scene, Oscar couldn't help but sigh. Tang San has no power to resist at all. The gap in strength was too great, even if Yi Hao stood still. Tang San couldn't harm him in the slightest. Zhao Wuji was very helpless. I don't know where Tang San provoked His Excellency Flame Emperor, bringing about such a beating. He didn't dare to step forward and ask Yi Hao to show mercy. In front of a titled Douluo, his immovable bright king had no face at all. Yi Hao looked at Tang San lying on the ground, feeling uninterested. He was too fragile, incomparable to Tang Hao. Tang San still didn't give up on counterattacking, staggering to his feet, and threw out a few dragon beard needles. The result left him in despair. The dragon beard needles also couldn't break through the opponent's protective fire and instantly turned to ash. What kind of fire was that to be so overbearing? Yi Hao didn't speak, pointing a finger out through the air. Swish! Spirit power bloomed at his fingertip, turning into a beam of spirit power that instantly pierced through the hand Tang San had used to throw the dragon beard needles. Even though Tang San used his mysterious jade hand, it offered no resistance at all. Tang San let out a miserable scream and could no longer support himself, falling to the ground. His internal organs and bones throughout his body had been cracked from the previous punch and slam, and he had completely lost the ability to fight. Congratulations to the host for defeating Tang San. The Heavy Fist Strike mission is complete. Reward: all spirit ring ages increased by 10,000 years. As the system's voice sounded, Yi Hao's first, second, and third spirit rings suddenly changed from purple to black, becoming 10,000-year spirit rings. His spirit ring configuration changed to an astonishing 8 black and 1 red. His Excellency Flame Emperor's spirit rings have changed again. Ma Hongzhen noticed the change in the color of Yi Hao's spirit rings and exclaimed in shock. 8 black and 1 red, what kind of devilish spirit ring configuration is this? Oscar warned, His Excellency Flame Emperor is clearly not an ordinary titled Douluo and possesses many secrets, and these secrets are not for us to know. Just watch quietly. They had long known that Yi Hao's spirit rings would change. After all, when Yi Hao entered Shrek Academy, he had displayed his spirit rings. At that time, it was the standard optimal spirit ring configuration of 2 yellow, 2 purple, 4 black and 1 red, but not long after, it had changed to 3 purple, 5 black and 1 red. Ma Hongzhen hadn't been at Shrek Academy during that initial period, so he was surprised because he didn't know, but the others here, aside from feeling amazed, weren't too surprised. Watching his spirit rings complete their upgrade, Yi Hao was in a great mood, and even felt Tang San looked a bit more pleasing to the eye as he looked at him lying on the ground. All right, the strength test is over. You're quite durable, so you pass. You can go hunt for a spirit ring with Zhao Wuji. Zhao Wuji sighed upon hearing this. Tang San is probably unable to fight in this state. I'd better go catch a 1,000-year spirit beast and bring it over. After Spirit Master absorbs a spirit ring, not only does their spirit power rank increase, but their injuries also heal, which can also be seen as a method of healing. Zhao Wuji left to find a suitable spirit beast for Tang San. He remembered Tang San mentioning he wanted to add poison properties to his blue-silver grass to enhance its lethality. There were many spirit beasts with poison attributes, so finding one wouldn't be too difficult. Tang San, eat a sausage. Oscar walked to Tang San's side, squatted down, and handed a big recovery sausage to Tang San. After all, they were classmates and had come out together to hunt for spirit rings, so he was willing to offer a helping hand. Tang San tremblingly reached out to take the sausage and stuffed it into his mouth, but his jawbone was broken, so he had no strength to chew and could only swallow it slowly. After eating the big recovery sausage, his injuries healed slightly. He crawled with difficulty to a nearby tree, leaned against it, and sat on the ground, looking very dejected. At this moment, he looked very much like a dog. Brother San. Zyro Wu, after all, couldn't bear it, walked up to Tang San and called out softly. Tang San slowly raised his head, met Zyro Wu's pitying gaze, and an unnamed fire of anger rose in his heart. Was she pitying him? He was a peerless genius with twin spirits. He didn't need anyone's pity. One day, he would stand at the pinnacle of the Douluo Continent and make Yi Hao pay back the humiliation he had suffered 10,000 times over. Chapter 34, Tang San wants to vomit blood. Yi Hao did not know what Tang San was thinking, and even if he did, he would not care. It would just mean beating him harder next time. He was currently considering when to establish his own Spirit Master Academy. Of course, even if he did not establish his own Spirit Master Academy, Shrek Academy would soon move into Lambur Academy. The location of Lambur Academy was in Heaven Dew City, the imperial capital of the Heaven Dew Empire, which was also a place he would certainly visit in the future. Clatter. Just then a sound rang out, interrupting Yi Hao's thoughts. He looked toward the sound and saw Zhao Wuji dragging a man-faced demon spider back. What a coincidence was that the 2000-year man-faced demon spider from the original story. After his initial surprise, Yi Hao discovered that the man-faced demon spider Zhao Wuji brought back was only a 1000-year-old spirit beast, not the man-faced demon spider that produced the external spirit bone 8 spider lances. He could only sigh that this kid Tang San really had a fate with the man-faced demon spider. Even after missing the 2000-year-old one, he still managed to run into a 1000-year-old one. However, this one probably wouldn't produce an external spirit bone, right? Looking at the timeline, without Tang San's interference, that 2000-year-old man-faced demon spider should have been successfully killed by Meng Yuren. He didn't know if she could absorb a man-faced demon spider spirit ring that exceeded the limit for a third spirit ring, but if she was lucky enough to absorb it successfully, she might be able to obtain the 8 spider lances. Zhao Wuji threw the dying man-faced demon spider in front of Tang San. Tang San, kill this man-faced demon spider and absorb the spirit ring. He had done everything he could for Tang San, hoping that if Tang San ever became successful, he would remember this favor. Many thanks, Teacher Zhao. When Tang San saw the man-faced demon spider, his eyes lit up, and he immediately took out a white dagger and stabbed it fiercely into the vital point of the man-faced demon spider. A moment later, the man-faced demon spider lost its life, generating a purple 1000-year spirit ring. Tang San was very satisfied. In Grandmaster's plan for his growth path, the man-faced demon spider was one of the best choices for his third spirit ring. He hadn't expected Zhao Wuji to actually catch one for him. Heaven blesses me, Tang San. It's you guys again. Just as Tang San was preparing to absorb the man-faced demon spider spirit ring, a somewhat familiar girl's voice rang out, and immediately 3 figures flew over. Among the 3, 2 were Meng Yuren and the snake granny, Kao Tianxiang, whom Yi Hao and the others had seen before. The remaining person was an old man, most likely the Dragon Duke Meng Shu. Zhao Wuji cupped his hands in greeting toward the Dragon Duke Meng Shu. This must be the senior Dragon Duke, right? The snake granny, Kao Tianxiang, was only a spirit emperor, while the Dragon Duke Meng Shu was rumored to be a spirit Douluo. Once the two used their spirit fusion technique, they could unleash the combat power of a titled Douluo. Precisely because of this, the two were known as the Peerless Dragon and Snake. The Dragon Duke looked at Zhao Wuji with an unkind gaze. Immovable bright King Zhao Wuji, yesterday you took advantage of my absence to snatch my granddaughter's spirit ring. Yesterday, after Meng Yuren and the snake granny met with him, they immediately told him about being tricked and having the spirit ring snatched. If he hadn't been chasing a man-faced demon spider at the time, he would have come to vent his granddaughter's anger long ago. Zhao Wuji was not afraid and spoke calmly. Senior Dragon Duke, isn't that a bit unreasonable? Since when have the spirit beasts of the Stardew Great Forest had owners? It has always been that whoever hunts them owns them. He thought to himself that it was His Excellency Flame Emperor who wanted to snatch the spirit ring. If they had the ability, why didn't they go settle the score with His Excellency Flame Emperor? At this moment, Meng Yuren noticed the corpse of the man-faced demon spider in front of Tang San and the purple spirit ring, and was very surprised. Grandpa. This person also killed a man-faced demon spider. When the Dragon Duke and Snake Granny heard this and looked, it was indeed a man-faced demon spider. What a coincidence! Had the man-faced demon spider become so common on the outskirts of the Stardew Great Forest? Tang San did not expect Meng Yuren and the others to suddenly shift their attention to him. He had originally intended to secretly absorb the man-faced demon spider's spirit ring, but now it seemed that was not going to work. He could only reason with them. Two seniors, this is the man-faced demon spider that Teacher Zhao caught for me. It shouldn't be the prey of young Miss Meng Yuren that was snatched, right? The Dragon Duke nodded slightly. Indeed it is not. The man-faced demon spider we hunted had a higher age than this one, and Yuren has already successfully absorbed that spirit ring. Speaking of this, his tone changed. However, yesterday you snatched a spirit ring from my granddaughter, so today you cannot absorb this spirit ring. Thump! The Dragon Duke struck the ground hard with the dragon staff in his hand, and his thick spirit power erupted as 8 spirit rings appeared. An 8-ring spirit Douluo. Tang San was anxious. Senior Dragon Duke, it wasn't me who snatched your granddaughter's spirit ring yesterday. How can you stop me from absorbing a spirit ring? He was truly anxious. He just wanted to obtain his 3rd spirit ring to become a spirit elder. Why was it so difficult? First, he was beaten up by Yi Hao and almost beaten to death, and now, when he had finally made it to the time to absorb a spirit ring, someone jumped out to stop him. Zhao Wuji, Oscar, and Ma Hongzhen on the side didn't know what to say. Tang San's luck was truly a bit bad. Zhu Zhuqing and Ning Rongrong were not too concerned. Anyway, it had nothing to do with them, and they didn't have any good feelings toward Tang San. Zyro Wu's eyes were complex. She felt pity for Tang San's situation, but in this current situation, there was nothing she could do. The Dragon Duke said coldly, HMPH, I don't care, in any case you cannot absorb this spirit ring today. He couldn't make that kid, who absorbed the Phoenixdale Crested Serpent spirit ring yesterday, spit out the spirit ring, but he could stop this kid today from absorbing the man-faced demon spider spirit ring. Meng Yuren also spoke triumphantly. Yesterday you bullied us, didn't expect to suffer this retribution today, did you? She was in a very good mood. First, she had absorbed the 2000-year man-faced demon spider spirit ring that exceeded the limit for a 3rd spirit ring without any danger, and second, she was able to avenge the grudge of having her spirit ring snatched yesterday. In addition, after absorbing that 2000-year man-faced demon spider spirit ring, she had also obtained an external spirit bone. The value of an external spirit bone was immeasurable. It could grow along with the spirit master, and its rarity was no less than a 100,000-year spirit bone. Teacher Zhao. Tang San was almost so angry that he vomited blood, and could only choose to ask Zhao Wuji for help. He could not watch the top-grade spirit ring he had obtained vanish before his eyes. Zhao Wuji was in a difficult position. His Excellency Flame Emperor seemed to dislike Tang San and might not necessarily step forward for him, and if he were alone, he would not be a match for the peerless dragon and snake couple. How about letting Tang San give up this spirit ring and go hunt for another one later? Zhao Wuji had an idea in his heart. It was not worth offending the peerless dragon and snake couple for the sake of one Tang San, so he immediately advised Tang San. Tang San, since Senior Dragon Duke insists on stopping you from absorbing this spirit ring, you should just give up on this spirit ring. Upon hearing this, the Dragon Duke showed a look of satisfaction. It seemed his reputation was quite effective, as even the immovable bright King Zhao Wuji chose to back down. Tang San was almost so angry that he vomited blood from Zhao Wuji's words, and he roared with red eyes. No, Grandmaster said that the man-faced demon spider is one of the best choices for my 3rd spirit ring. I cannot just give up like this. Chapter 35, The Peerless Dragon and Snake Couple. Facing Tang San's hysterical roar, the Dragon Duke smiled contemptuously. Kid, if a spirit ring is gone, you can hunt for another, but if your life is gone, it's truly gone. Zhao Wuji frowned slightly. Senior Dragon Duke, I cannot stand by and watch you kill my student. It would be fine if the other party just forbade Tang San from hunting a spirit ring, but if they wanted to kill Tang San, he could not ignore it. The Dragon Duke didn't take Zhao Wuji seriously at all and became completely arrogant. What, Zhao Wuji, do you think you can protect your student just because you can block me for a while? Don't forget that I am not the only one here. Even if I slaughter all of you today, no one else will ever know. He was 100% certain he could defeat or even kill Zhao Wuji, and Snake Granny would have no trouble dealing with those juniors. Moreover, the two of them could also perform a spirit fusion technique. As long as the other party didn't have a titled Douluo, the situation was completely under his control. Meng Yuren's gaze swept across the group from Shrek Academy and finally landed on Yi Hao. And you, didn't you act with them yesterday, pretending to be a titled Douluo? You even dare to call yourself His Excellency. Let's see how you bluff your way through today. Hearing this, the Dragon Duke also looked at Yi Hao, sized him up and sneered. You actually dare to impersonate a titled Douluo? You certainly have some nerve. It's just a pity that fake is fake, and it can never become real. Zhao Wuji didn't expect the Dragon Duke and his granddaughter to take the initiative to attack Yi Hao. While happy in his heart, he immediately took a firm stance. I am their teacher. Even if I have to fight to the death today, I will not let you, the peerless dragon and snake couple, slaughter my students. As he spoke, he released his vigorous Vajrabhaya spirit, and 7 spirit rings, yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, 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 rose up, clearly ready to risk his life at the slightest disagreement. Seeing this, Ning Rongrong curled her lip and said, Teacher Zhao is really good at putting on a show. He wasn't this tough just a moment ago, but now that the other party is targeting His Excellency Flame Emperor, he's suddenly acting tough. Anyone could see that Zhao Wuji was showing his loyalty to Yi Hao. Since the other side had taken the initiative to attack Yi Hao, given Yi Hao's personality, it was impossible for him to remain indifferent. Zhu Zhuqing, Oscar Ma Hongzhen, and Zyro Wu were also calm and composed, not in the least bit frightened by the Dragon Duke's words just now. The peerless dragon and snake couple could stop Tang San from absorbing a spirit ring, but there was absolutely no way they could kill all of them. Among them, there really was a titled Douluo. It wasn't some impersonation. Zhao Wuji, let me see what you're capable of today. The Dragon Duke said in a deep voice. He erupted with tyrannical spirit power, preparing to take down Zhao Wuji. Bring it on, who's afraid of whom? Zhao Wuji did not show any weakness. However, while speaking, his gaze kept glancing toward Yi Hao behind him, clearly waiting for Yi Hao to step in. Yi Hao did not make Zhao Wuji wait long, and said with a faint smile. All right, old Zhao, since they say I'm a fake titled Douluo, let me show them whether I'm a fake or not. He stepped forward, walked past Zhao Wuji, and stood at the very front, facing the Dragon Duke, Snake Granny, and Meng Yuren directly. All right. Zhao Wuji did not hesitate at all, quickly retracted his spirit, and stepped back a few paces, leaving Yi Hao at the front. With the real master stepping out, there was nothing left for him to do. Oscar complained, Teacher Zhao, you're quite cowardly. Usually everyone said that Zhao Wuji had a very violent temper and was a devil king, but today he was like a clown. Zhao Wuji didn't feel embarrassed at all and said solemnly, What do you know? This is called following one's heart. Besides, with His Excellency Flame Emperor stepping in, is there any need for a small spirit saint like me to show off? The peerless dragon and snake couple on the opposite side were very confused by Zhao Wuji and Yi Hao's actions. Zhao Wuji actually retreated to the back and let a student step forward to confront them. When Meng Yuren saw a teenager not much older than herself daring to confront her grandparents, she crossed her arms over her chest and mocked. Hey, have you become addicted to impersonating a titled Douluo? Do you really take yourself for a titled Douluo? Even if she was stupid. She knew that there couldn't be a teenage titled Douluo in the world. The other party was at best a spirit elder or a spirit ancestor. Kid, if you dare to put on an act in front of me, the consequences will be very miserable. The Dragon Duke said grimly. He wanted to see what kind of tricks Yi Hao could pull. If he couldn't impress him, then Zhao Wuji wouldn't be able to protect him today. Can't bear it any longer, no need to endure. Detected that someone is constantly sneering and mocking the host. Please demonstrate the strength of a titled Douluo, severely teach the peerless dragon and snake couple a lesson, and make Meng Yuren bow her head and admit her mistake. Mission reward, spirit power rank increased by 1. It's finally here. Having waited for a long time, Yi Hao saw that the mission had been triggered and immediately perked up. He continued to take a step forward, and a terrifying spirit power pressure suddenly landed on Meng Yuren. With a thud, Meng Yuren, caught off guard, collapsed directly onto the ground. She was terrified in her heart and desperately released her spirit power, her 3 spirit rings, yellow, yellow, purple, appearing as well. However, the result left her somewhat desperate. No matter how she struggled, she could not resist the pressure descending upon her, and she was suppressed to the ground, unable to get up. Yuren! The Dragon Duke and Snake Granny realized belatedly that there was something wrong with Yi Hao, and immediately activated their spirits, waving their dragon staff and snake staff to strike. Yi Hao flicked his finger, hitting the intersection of the dragon staff and the snake staff. Boom! An irresistible shockwave of spirit power erupted, sending the Dragon Duke and Snake Granny flying backward, their arms trembling uncontrollably, nearly shattered by the shock. An expression of disbelief appeared in their eyes. They couldn't believe that the other party had repelled them with a single finger, without even activating his spirit. Yi Hao held one hand behind his back, made a gesture of invitation with the other, and had a warm smile on his face. Can an 8-ring spirit Douluo and a 6-ring spirit emperor really contend against a titled Douluo by performing a spirit fusion technique? I don't quite believe it. Could the 2 of you please enlighten me? As his voice fell, 9 spirit rings rose up. Black, 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 red. 8 black and 1 red, a 9-ring titled Douluo. His Excellency Flame Emperor is so handsome. Seeing Yi Hao's peerless demeanor, Ning Rongrong was full of admiration, her eyes almost sparkling with little stars. The Spirit Master's world worships the strong, and this is even more true for auxiliary system soul masters, who need to be protected by powerful spirit masters to exert their auxiliary effects. The 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School is precisely because it has 2 powerful titled Douluo guarding it that it can firmly rank among the top 3 sects, second only to the Clear Sky sect. He really is handsome. Even the usually taciturn iceberg beauty, Zhu Zhuqing, echoed the sentiment. Her pitch-black eyes watched Yi Hao's back, ripples of affection stirring within them as strange emotions spread. Of course His Excellency Flame Emperor is handsome. I have already decided to follow His Excellency Flame Emperor to the death. Oscar's admiration was even more off the charts. He wished he could turn into a woman and marry Yi Hao. At this moment, Yi Hao was his idol. However, the one most shocked in her heart was Meng Yuren. She lay on the ground, looking at Yi Hao's 9 spirit rings, her pupils shrinking, her shock beyond measure. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribers, and share to Infinite Novel Audio. A titled Douluo. Chapter 36, Defeating the Spirit Fusion Ability in One Move. Peerless Dragon and Snake were also stunned. The youth before them was truly a titled Douluo, and possessed an unheard of, terrifying spirit ring configuration of 8 black and 1 red. A teenage titled Douluo, 810,000 year spirit rings, 100,000 year spirit ring. Is he even human? Yi Hao waved his hand and smiled. Let's continue. Don't think about running away unless you don't want your granddaughter's life anymore. Of course, even if Dragon Duke and Snake Granny abandoned Meng Yuren's life to escape, it would be impossible for them to get away. After his shock, Dragon Duke's face turned livid. He said in a deep voice, "What exactly does your excellency want?" He was thinking of a countermeasure. In a direct confrontation, he was by no means a match, and even if he and Snake Granny used their spirit fusion ability, there was absolutely no possibility of resistance. As for running away, they could not abandon Meng Yuren. Yi Hao sneered. Previously, you relied on your deep spirit power cultivation and threatened to kill us all. Now, you're asking me what I want. If you want to survive today, then try your best to let me have some fun. Explosive step. Before his words had even faded, his figure had already blasted out, raising his hand to strike at Dragon Duke. Don't go too far. Dragon Duke roared, erupting with formidable spirit power, while simultaneously holding his dragon staff horizontally in front of him to block. Bang! Yi Hao struck the dragon staff with one palm, and a powerful impact erupted, sending Dragon Duke flying along with his staff. Suction palm. The next instant, he raised his palm, unleashing an extremely strong suction force, pulling Dragon Duke back over. Fire fist. The 3rd spirit ring lit up, and a raging flame erupted, forming a massive fiery fist that struck out. Bang! Dragon Duke used a spirit ability to defend, but was still sent flying, vomiting blood from the fire fist. He slammed heavily into a large tree, looking extremely disheveled. Old man! All of this happened in the blink of an eye. Before Snake Granny could come to his aid, Dragon Duke had already been injured. Don't worry, it's your turn now. Yi Hao's cold voice rang out. He shifted his footsteps, spirit power erupting from the soles of his feet, and his figure shot out, attacking Snake Granny with an elbow strike. Snake Granny brandished her snake staff to block. Thud! Spirit power impacts raged, and immediately after, Ning Rongrong and the others saw Snake Granny also fly away, even dropping her snake staff to the ground. Sent flying with just one elbow strike, vulnerable. Yi Hao brushed the dust off his shoulders and spoke nonchalantly. He missed Tang Hao a little. Tang Hao could survive a fake two-colored fire lotus fused with exotic flame and spirit flame, unlike these people who didn't even qualify for him to use a fire lotus. Of course, he was now capable of unleashing a three-colored fire lotus fused from 3 types of exotic flames. Even Tang Hao wouldn't be able to take one, unless Tang Chen came. We had no intention of offending your excellency, please show mercy. Dragon Duke wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and bowed to Yi Hao, his words completely conceding. There was no other way, he had to concede. The opponent's strength was unfathomable, even more powerful than some titled Douluo he had met before, existing as an invincible force. I said, if you want to survive, let me have some fun first. Yi Hao remained unmoved. He was not a soft-hearted person. The other party had offended him first, and now they were only conceding because they feared his strength. There was no need for pity. You forced us to do this, old woman. Dragon Duke's face stiffened, then a look of madness appeared in his eyes as he shouted at Snake Granny. Since the other party refused to let them go, they had no choice but to fight to the death. Old man, I'm coming. Snake Granny understood and charged toward Dragon Duke. The next moment, Dragon Duke and Snake Granny erupted with brilliant spirit power light. When the spirit power light dissipated, they were gone, replaced by a flood dragon that resembled both a dragon and a snake. The flood dragon was tens of meters long, radiating astonishing spirit power fluctuations, having clearly reached the titled Douluo level. This was the peerless dragon and snake's spirit fusion ability, Dragon-Snake Joint Attack. It was precisely by relying on this spirit fusion ability that they were able to unleash strength comparable to a titled Douluo. Zhao Wuji looked at the proudly standing flood dragon and felt immense pressure, exclaiming in surprise. Such strong spirit power fluctuations, the peerless dragon and snake couple's spirit fusion ability lives up to its reputation. It might have truly reached the titled Douluo level. Hearing Zhao Wuji's words, Ning Rongrong's pretty face showed a trace of worry. Teacher Zhao, won't Emperor Yan be in danger? Her spirit power rank was too low, and her judgment of the strength between top-tier experts wasn't very clear. Hearing Zhao Wuji say that the peerless dragon and snake couple's spirit fusion ability had reached the titled Douluo level, she thought they were on the same level as Yi Hao. Zhao Wuji smiled and said, "You are underestimating Emperor Yan too much. Yesterday, even that 100,000-year Titan giant ape was no match for Emperor Yan, and this flood dragon formed by the spirit fusion ability is at most equivalent to an ordinary 100,000-year soul beast. It absolutely cannot harm Emperor Yan in the slightest." He was a spirit saint and understood the strength of Yi Hao and the peerless dragon and snake couple better, knowing that the couple could not be Yi Hao's match. Inside the flood dragon, Dragon Duke, who was maintaining the spirit fusion ability, issued a final ultimatum. Your Excellency titled Douluo, do you really want to force us into a fight to the death? Yi Hao remained indifferent. Do you think you can threaten me with a spirit fusion ability? 3 colored flames condensed in front of him, turning into an exotic flame ruler. Holding the exotic flame ruler, a pair of flame wings appeared behind him, and he instantly ascended into the sky. 5th spirit ability, Undying Flame Wings. Then let's both be destroyed. Dragon Duke's roar rang out, and immediately the flood dragon opened its mouth and fired a wave of spirit power light, blasting toward Yi Hao in the sky. Seeing this, Yi Hao held the exotic flame ruler and slashed down with a powerful strike. An exotic flame slash flew down rapidly, carrying the force of destroying the heavens and extinguishing the earth, colliding with the spirit power light wave. Flame-splitting tsunami ruler. The two forces clashed, and after just a moment of stalemate, the spirit power light wave was defeated. The exotic flame slash continued unabated, slamming heavily into the head of the flood dragon. Boom! The collision produced an extremely strong spirit power impact, and immediately after, the flood dragon collapsed. Two figures flew backward and fell to the ground, their auras weak and listless. Is that it? Yi Hao looked down at the peerless dragon and snake couple lying on the ground, feeling very unsatisfied. This spirit fusion ability was nothing special. It was defeated by him in one move, like a paper tiger. In fact, the peerless dragon and snake's spirit fusion ability was not weak. For an ordinary titled Douluo to defeat it would not be an easy task. It was just that Yi Hao's current strength far surpassed ordinary titled Douluo and even super Douluo. Grandma. Seeing Meng Shu and Ko Tianxiang defeated, Meng Yuren's heart tightened, very worried about the safety of her two relatives. But she was still suppressed by the pressure released by Yi Hao and could only lie on the ground, unable to get up, watching her relatives fall helplessly. Oscar looked at the miserable state of Dragon Duke and Snake Granny, glanced at Meng Yuren and mocked. Emperor Yan is indeed the strongest. To think a mere spirit fusion ability would want to oppose Emperor Yan, truly overestimating oneself. Hearing this, Meng Yuren felt endless regret. If she had known that the youth was truly a titled Douluo, she would never have let her grandfather vent his anger for her. Yi Hao's figure descended in front of Meng Yuren at this moment, looking down at the girl lying on the ground, his tone cold. Do you want your grandparents to live? Chapter 37, Meng Yuren admits her mistake. I do. Meng Yuren replied without hesitation. Her grandparents were her closest kin, and they were the ones who had raised her. No matter what, she had to save them. Yi Hao withdrew his pressure, crouched down, reached out to lift Meng Yuren's fair chin, stared at her beautiful face, and said with a smile. Then what price should you pay for your previous bullying? If not for his presence as a titled Douluo today, the outcome for the group from Shrek Academy likely would not have been any better than Meng Yuren's current situation. Without the suppression of his pressure, Meng Yuren staggered up, mist appearing in her beautiful eyes, and she gritted her teeth, saying, The conflict between us started with me. As long as you let my grandparents go, I will let you do whatever you want with me. At this point, with herself as the fish and him as the knife, she had no choice but to lower her stance. Ma Hongzhen and Oscar in the back showed lewd smiles, clearly having dirty thoughts. Can I absorb the spirit ring now? The spirit ring is about to dissipate. Just then, Tang San's lacking in confidence voice rang out, attracting the gaze of everyone present. Zhao Wuji and the others found it somewhat amusing to see Tang San staring eagerly at the man-faced demon spider spirit ring in front of him. The fight between Yi Hao and the peerless dragon and snake had been brief and exciting, making them forget about Tang San. Tang San was on the verge of a breakdown. Could his spirit ring still be absorbed? Was there anyone who cared about him? The commotion from Yi Hao's fight with the peerless dragon and snake was too great, and the absorption of a spirit ring could not be disturbed, so he could only watch the spirit ring earlier, not daring to absorb it. The conversation with Meng Yuren was interrupted by Tang San's sudden words, and Yi Hao was quite displeased, so he stood up and ordered Meng Yuren. Go slap him. Huh. Meng Yuren didn't react to whom she should slap, and asked, May I ask who I should slap? If she wasn't mistaken, these people should be on the same side as this young titled Douluo, right? Yi Hao glanced at Tang San, that guy who interrupted our conversation. Meng Yuren nodded, seemingly understanding, then looked at Tang San, thinking this guy seemed to be in a bad spot among that group. She walked quickly to Tang San and slapped him hard while he was looking at her in confusion. Smack! A crisp sound rang out, and an extra red palm print appeared on Tang San's already plain face. His head buzzed and he was stunned by the hit. Meng Yuren did not hold back at all with this slap, her own hand even hurt after hitting him. She turned to look at Yi Hao, wanting to know if this was acceptable. If not, she would slap Tang San again. Seeing the extra palm print on Tang San's face, Yi Hao was very satisfied. That's enough, come here, let him absorb the spirit ring. Tang San was definitely someone who could repeatedly trigger missions. Calling him an ATM would not be an exaggeration. He could be bullied, but there was no need to stop him from absorbing the spirit ring. The rewards after triggering a mission were closely related to the target's cultivation realm. In the future, Tang San and his father would be his tools for farming rewards, and they might drop gold coins for him at any time. It wouldn't be too late to finish them off once he couldn't farm any more rewards from them. Meng Yuan did not dare to question Yi Hao's words, and obediently returned to his side. She spoke weakly, "What else do you need me to do?" Tang San was furious but dared not speak. He clenched his fists and then quickly began to absorb the spirit ring. As long as he absorbed this spirit ring, he would be able to become a spirit elder, and his strength would increase. Once his strength surpassed Yi Hao's, he would make Yi Hao endure all the humiliation he had suffered 10 times, 100 times over. With this belief, as long as he did not have enough strength, no matter how Yi Hao humiliated him, he would choose to endure it. The Dragon Duke and Snake Granny, who had fallen not far away, had recovered slightly, and they felt heartbroken to see their granddaughter acting so subserviently in front of Yi Hao. The Dragon Duke in particular could not help but shout at Yi Hao, "Your Excellency is a titled Douluo after all. What sense of achievement do you get from bullying a girl who has just reached the Spirit Elder realm? If this gets out, it will surely become a laughingstock in the Spirit Master's world." Upon hearing this, Yi Hao turned to look at the Dragon Duke, coldness appearing in his eyes. "Are you forcing me to kill you? As long as all 3 of you die here, I don't think today's events will spread." Whoosh! His figure lunged in front of the Dragon Duke, and with a wave of his hand, he slapped the Dragon Duke flying to the ground. The Snake Granny hurriedly rushed over to help the Dragon Duke up inside. "Today our skills were inferior, why must you keep provoking him?" She also could not have expected that just to vent some anger for her granddaughter, they would provoke such a terrifying young titled Douluo, and one who was unreasonably strong at that. Seeing her grandfather beaten again, Meng Yuan was anxious and knelt directly to Yi Hao to beg, "Your Excellency, please do not hurt my grandparents, I will do anything." There was no other way. Yi Hao's strength was the greatest she had ever seen. And the only way she could save her loved ones was to kneel and beg. The Dragon Duke was old and stubborn. Seeing Meng Yuan kneel, he shouted, "Yuan, do not kneel, get up, our Meng family cannot be spineless." He had roamed the Spirit Master's world his whole life, and left behind a great reputation. Even if he died, he did not need his granddaughter to kneel to beg for his life. Yi Hao looked at the Dragon Duke with cold eyes. "Your life isn't important, but isn't the life of your wife who has been with you for a lifetime, and your granddaughter, important? Your granddaughter is willing to sacrifice her dignity to kneel to save her loved ones, and your actions are undoubtedly failing your granddaughter's efforts." The Dragon Duke opened his mouth but could not speak. Of course he cared about the lives of his wife, the Snake Granny, and his granddaughter, Meng Yuan. Seeing that the Dragon Duke did not speak, Yi Hao walked to Meng Yuan and asked calmly, "Did you know you were wrong?" Meng Yuan lowered her head and pursed her lips. "I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have relied on the strength of my grandparents to bully others." She truly knew she was wrong, or rather, she had been scared by Yi Hao. No one expected that just by entering the Stardew Great Forest to hunt for a 3rd spirit ring, they would provoke such an extremely powerful titled Douluo. Successfully taught the peerless dragon and snake a lesson, made Meng Yuan lower her head and admit her mistake. Mission completed. Reward, spirit power rank increased by 1. The system's voice rang out, and Yi Hao clearly perceived that the spirit power in his body had become more profound and vast. His spirit power rank had reached rank 93, and his strength had reached a new level. The mission was already completed, and he did not want to waste any more time with Meng Yuan and the peerless dragon and snake, but he suddenly thought of the external spirit bone 8 spider lances, and subsequently asked, "Did you obtain an external spirit bone?" Meng Yuan was stunned, a look of terror appearing in her eyes. Why would this young titled Douluo in front of her know that she had an external spirit bone? Her grandfather had said that an external spirit bone could be taken out shortly after it was absorbed. Did the other party want her external spirit bone? Meng Yuren was nervous inside. She did not dare to lie to a titled Douluo and could only admit yes. She prayed in her heart that the other party was not eyeing her external spirit bone. Otherwise, she would be doomed, and it was also very likely that her grandparents would be silenced. Yi Hao spoke in a lecturing tone. You just obtained an external spirit bone, and instead of thinking about returning to accelerate your fusion with it, you only thought about finding your grandfather to vent your anger. That is truly foolish. Get up, take your grandparents, and leave. Chapter 38, Zyro Wu's Spirit Elder Breakthrough. Meng Yuren looked at Yi Hao, somewhat dazed, thinking she had misheard. The other party had asked if she had obtained an external spirit bone, and after receiving her affirmative reply, he had actually let her go just like that. Before I change my mind, you had better move quickly. Seeing that Meng Yuren was still dazed, Yi Hao spoke up to remind her. His choice to let Meng Yuren go just like that naturally had its reasons. Later, if he were to establish his own Spirit Master Academy, Meng Yuren, who possessed an external spirit bone, would be a suitable candidate for a student. As for why he himself did not seize the external spirit bone, naturally, it was because such trash was unworthy of being integrated into his body. Thank you, Your Excellency. Meng Yuren reacted quickly this time, hurriedly rising and running toward the Dragon Duke and Snake Granny. The 3 generations of the family left, supporting each other, their figures gradually disappearing from sight. Oscar scratched his head, feeling that Yi Hao was too merciful toward Meng Yuren and the peerless dragon and snake couple. Flame Emperor, Your Excellency, you just let them go like that. If it were any other titled Douluo, having been provoked and slandered by the peerless dragon and snake couple and Meng Yuren, they would likely have already killed them without hesitation. Yi Hao smiled and said, what else? Just because the other party said a few harsh words, should I really kill them? Young people must understand that harmony brings wealth, don't always resort to killing. He was not the type of person who felt others were already courting death at every turn. Oscar makes sense. As expected of the Flame Emperor, Your Excellency, your perspective is truly grand. He just needed to mindlessly praise. Whatever decision Yi Hao made, others had more to consider. What a bootlicker! Seeing Oscar constantly flattering Yi Hao along the way, Ning Rongrong pouted, very dissatisfied. She felt that Oscar was too conspicuous, hindering her time with Yi Hao. Tang San absorbed his 3rd spirit ring very quickly. Before long, he had successfully absorbed it, becoming a 3-ring spirit elder. Joy appeared in his eyes. The spirit ring produced by the man-faced demon spider was indeed extraordinary. It added a poison attribute to his blue-silver grass, giving the blue-silver grass a certain degree of lethality. Congratulations on becoming a 3-ring spirit elder. Seeing that Tang San had finished absorbing the spirit ring, Zhao Wuji walked over to congratulate him. The others acted as if they hadn't seen it, and even Zyro Wu, after hesitating for a moment, did not speak. Tang San's expression was ugly. When Oscar and Ning Rongrong became spirit elders, everyone else congratulated them, but when he became a spirit elder, only Zhao Wuji congratulated him. It was clear they didn't take him, Tang San, seriously. Seeing the atmosphere was a bit cold, Zhao Wuji spoke up. All right, since everyone has successfully obtained their 3rd spirit ring, it is time to return to the academy. He thought to himself that since Tang San was so unpopular, perhaps he should also keep some distance from Tang San to avoid being misunderstood by the Flame Emperor, Your Excellency, as having a close relationship with Tang San. Yi Hao glanced at Zyro Wu, suddenly thinking that Zyro Wu should also be able to reach the Spirit Elder breakthrough now, but since the plot of being taken away by the Titan Giant Ape had not occurred, it would be awkward to display the scene of automatically generating a spirit ring in front of everyone. So he said to Zhao Wuji and the others, you go ahead, Zyro Wu and I will follow shortly. Zyro Wu looked at Yi Hao, her eyes full of confusion. Ning Rongrong asked even more suspiciously, why do you want to leave later with Zyro Wu? Can't you return to Shrek Academy with us? Many thoughts flashed through her mind. Could it be that Yi Hao wanted to have a tryst with Zyro Wu here in the Stardew Great Forest? Zhu Zhuqing also scanned back and forth between Zyro Wu and Yi Hao, her gaze containing a sense of scrutiny, though she did not say anything. She knew she had no right to interfere with what Yi Hao wanted to do. Tang San was burning with rage, thinking of a very unpleasant term. Could it be that Yi Hao wanted to play in the wild with Zyro Wu? He clenched his fists, he would endure it. Now was not the time to fall out with Yi Hao. He would wait until he became a titled Douluo or crafted top-tier Tang sect hidden weapons before he could turn against him. Yi Hao said, "Of course, it is because Zyro Wu has also reached the 30-rank breakthrough. I am staying behind to help her hunt for a spirit ring. At my speed, once she finishes absorbing the spirit ring, I can bring her to catch up with you. There is no need for everyone to keep waiting in the Stardew Great Forest and wasting time." Upon hearing this, Zyro Wu was very surprised, and a trace of warmth flashed through her heart. Her gaze toward Yi Hao also became softer, as if looking at a friend. "All right then." Ning Rongrong pursed her lips but chose to comply. Soon Zhao Wuji took Ning Rongrong, Xu Zhuqing, Oscar Ma Hongzhen, and Tang San and left. This was the outer perimeter. With Zhao Wuji leading the team, walking out of the Stardew Great Forest was not a difficult task. "Thank you." Zyro Wu whispered her thanks to Yi Hao. Afterwards, she did not hide it. She sat cross-legged on the spot and began to condense her third spirit ring. She was a 100,000-year soul beast in human form. At least for the first few dozen ranks, she did not need to hunt for spirit rings. Once her spirit power rank reached the threshold, she could automatically generate the best stage spirit ring. Yi Hao's Flame Emperor martial soul was even more so. All 9 spirit rings were condensed and generated automatically, without needing to hunt spirit beasts. And precisely because of this, his spirit ring configuration started as 2 yellow, 2 purple, 4 black, 1 red, not a shocking ratio. A quarter of an hour later, a purple spirit ring rose, surrounding Zyro Wu. She successfully condensed her third spirit ring, and her spirit power reached rank 31, becoming a 3-ring spirit elder. Yi Hao was on the side, acting as protector for Zyro Wu. Seeing Zyro Wu open her eyes, he spoke to congratulate her. "Congratulations on becoming a spirit elder." Zyro Wu replied, "Thank you, Flame Emperor, Your Excellency." Yi Hao laughed dumbly. "You already thanked me earlier, why thank me again now? I only let Zhao Wuji and the others go ahead, I didn't actually do anything." He knew that even if he hadn't spoken up to let Zhao Wuji and the others leave first, Zyro Wu would still have been able to find an opportunity to condense her third spirit ring and become a spirit elder later. She just would have needed to find a reasonable excuse to explain to others how she obtained the spirit ring. Zyro Wu shook her head slightly and continued, "Zyro Wu is thanking Flame Emperor, Your Excellency, for letting Ming go, that is, that 100,000-year Titan giant ape. The spirit bone and spirit ring of a 100,000-year soul beast have an irresistible temptation for spirit masters. Even if Flame Emperor, Your Excellency, does not need the spirit ring, you could still absorb the spirit bone to increase your strength. And with Flame Emperor, Your Excellency's strength, you could completely have not agreed to my request to let Ming go. After killing Ming, I would not have been able to escape either. But Flame Emperor, Your Excellency, did not do so. Regardless of the reason, Zyro Wu thanks you from the bottom of her heart." Her tone was very calm, as if she had already taken a detached view of her own life and death. Hearing Zyro Wu's words, Yi Hao pondered for a moment before speaking. "That is not wrong. A 100,000-year spirit bone is indeed enticing. To be honest, I actually have thought about killing you, the Titan giant ape, and even the Sky Azure Ball Python to seize the spirit bones. 3 100,000-year spirit bones are enough to drive any faction crazy." He guessed that even if the upper 3 sects were combined, they probably couldn't produce 3 100,000-year spirit bones. Zyro Wu's calm expression suddenly changed. She hadn't expected Yi Hao to actually know about the Sky Azure Ball Python. She panicked again, feeling somewhat uneasy in her heart. "How does Flame Emperor, Your Excellency, know about Da Ming?" Chapter 39, Dark Demonic Evil God Tiger. Yi Hao said calmly, "If Titan Giant Ape is the king of the forest, then Sky Azure Ball Python is the emperor of the Stardew Great Forest, and his strength is even above that of Titan Giant Ape. This matter is actually not a secret in the Spirit Master's world. Some powerful Spirit Masters know about it, as many Spirit Masters have ventured deep into the Stardew Great Forest over the years. However, rest assured, At least I have no intention of hunting for spirit bone right now. Spirit bone, after all, is just the bone of a spirit beast, yet one must integrate it into one's own body to absorb it. Just thinking about it makes him feel a bit uncomfortable. Exotic fire is inherently a path to invincibility, so why rely on spirit beast bones? Zyro Wu looked at Yi Hao with beautiful eyes, her mood calming down once again, carrying a hint of relief. She asked uncertainly, "Was it not for me that your Excellency Flame Emperor entered Shrek Academy?" At first, she had always suspected that Yi Hao had come for her. Otherwise, it was hard to imagine a titled Douluo entering an obscure Spirit Master Academy. Yi Hao teased, "Zyro Wu, you are too narcissistic. I came to Shrek Academy for other reasons, but it won't be long before I leave to establish my own Spirit Master Academy." If it weren't for the system mission, he would never have come to Shrek Academy. Originally, he hadn't planned to get involved with Tang-san and the others, intending for everyone to walk their own paths and mind their own business. However, the system was making trouble. People are selfish, and for rewards like exotic fire, he could only use Tang-san and the others as tools to farm gold coins. Zyro Wu's pretty face flushed red. She hadn't expected that she was just overthinking things. At the same time, her attention was caught by what Yi Hao said about establishing a Spirit Master Academy. "Your Excellency Flame Emperor is going to establish your own Spirit Master Academy. Can I join?" She had come to Shrek Academy following Tang-san, but now Tang-san disappointed her greatly. There was no point in staying at Shrek Academy, so it was better to leave, out of sight, out of mind. Yi Hao laughed, "Of course you can. When the time comes, even if you want to run, you won't be able to. Don't forget that you promised me you would do anything to save Ming. In other words, your fate is now in my control." His Spirit Master Academy team already had several candidates reserved. Zyro Wu, Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, and Oscar. Meng Yuan was also a potential candidate. Including himself, he needed at least one more person to assemble a 7-person team to participate in the Continental Advanced Spirit Master Academy Elite Tournament. Zyro Wu's mood was a bit low. That's fine too. Anyway, I'm very lost staying in human society all alone. A spirit beast transforming to enter human society is a very dangerous thing. The Spirit Master's world is already full of blood and storms, and what's more, a titled Douluo can tell she is a transformed spirit beast. She believed that apart from Yi Hao, it would be hard to find another Spirit Master who wouldn't be interested in the spirit ring and spirit bone of a 100,000-year soul beast. Yi Hao teased, "How are you all alone? Didn't you acknowledge Tang-san as your brother?" Thinking about the original plot development, where Zyro Wu, along with Da Ming and Ming, would eventually sacrifice themselves for Tang-san, he truly felt sorry for these 3 100,000-year soul beasts. Zyro Wu mocked herself, "Tang-san, he seems full of hostility towards spirit beasts. If he found out I was a spirit beast transformed into a human, I'm afraid he would find it hard to treat me as a little sister anymore." Before entering Shrek Academy, she thought Tang-san was a good person, but now she felt that Tang-san was not only full of hostility towards spirit beasts, but that his past merits had also disappeared. She didn't know if Tang-san had changed, or if his true nature had been exposed. Her favorability towards Tang-san was now close to zero. Yi Hao was clear about why Tang-san had such a big change. It was likely due to being provoked. Constantly suffering grievances while having to endure, his psychology must have become twisted. Now, he probably didn't care about anything other than his desire for strength. Suddenly, he detected an evil aura approaching. Swish! A sound rang out nearby, followed immediately by the slight rustling of the surrounding grass. Clearly, some creature had just passed through it. Yi Hao said seriously, "Be careful, a spirit beast is likely approaching, and its strength is not weak. There shouldn't be many spirit beasts in the entire Stardew Great Forest with this kind of aura. Could it be that guy?" Seeing Yi Hao's solemn expression, Zyro Wu stepped back a few paces and leaned closely against Yi Hao. This was the first time she had seen Yi Hao look like this. The visitor was likely ill-intentioned. Whoosh! A huge figure swooshed out, leaped, and landed not far in front of Yi Hao and Zyro Wu. This was a giant tiger with a body of pure black, without a single speck of other color. Its red eyes were full of a sinister aura. Its body length exceeded 8 meters, its muscles bulged, and the king character on its forehead was also black, but unlike the black of its fur, it was a gloomy black like mist. The most peculiar thing was its tail. Compared to ordinary tiger-type spirit beasts, its tail was much longer, pointed upwards, composed of countless bone joints, and the very tip was a huge barb, shimmering with a chilling, eerie light. Seeing this black giant tiger, Zyro Wu's expression was very flustered. It's actually it, the dark demonic evil god tiger. In the entire Stardew Great Forest, the only spirit beast that could make her fearful was this black giant tiger before her eyes. It was not only powerful but also very cruel. Yi Hao looked at Zyro Wu. Oh, you know this spirit beast. Actually, he had already guessed it when he felt that evil aura earlier. In the Stardew Great Forest, the only spirit beast with such a powerful and evil aura is the dark demonic evil god tiger, which was able to break out from the joint encirclement of the 100,000-year Titan giant ape and the 100,000-year Sky Azure bull python with only 60,000 years of cultivation. The dark demonic evil god tiger is a special demonic beast. Its numbers are even fewer than the man-faced demon spider, and it is an almost extinct spirit beast. At the same time, it is also a top-tier spirit beast. It is precisely because it is too top-tier that it is very difficult to survive in the spirit beast world, which is why it is so rare. Looking at the menacing dark demonic evil god tiger, Zyro Wu explained to Yi Hao. It is called the dark demonic evil god tiger, with a cultivation of about 60,000 years. It has a devouring ability and does not follow the normal cultivate path. It relies on devouring other spirit beasts and spirit masters to cultivate. That is why Da Ming and Ming have always wanted to kill it to prevent it from harming the Stardew Great Forest. But it is very cunning. Every time Da Ming and Ming attack together, it escapes, and if they attack separately, they are broken one by one, so they haven't been able to kill it for many years. As a transformed spirit beast, she knew the strength and danger of the dark demonic evil god tiger better than any spirit beast, if it were allowed to grow. Eventually, their entire spirit beast world, and even the spirit master's world, would be plunged into misery. Yi Hao nodded slightly, his gaze towards the dark demonic evil god tiger becoming a bit more serious. The 100,000-year Titan giant ape undoubtedly possesses the strength of a level 96 titled Douluo, and the 100,000-year Sky Azure bull python is even stronger. Yet they can do nothing about the dark demonic evil god tiger. They might even be defeated if fighting it individually. It is evident that the dark demonic evil god tiger is likely equivalent to a level 97 titled Douluo, and only when Da Ming and Ming join forces can they deal with it. The dark demonic evil god tiger kept staring at Yi Hao and Zyro Wu. It felt a trace of dangerous aura from Yi Hao, which made it feel very incredible, so it hesitated to act rashly. Chapter 40: A Supremely Powerful Stance. Tigers are inherently cautious animals. They will observe their target first, and only go all out to kill it after confirming they can handle it. As a top-tier spirit beast among tigers, the dark demonic evil god tiger is highly intelligent, and this is even more so the case for it. It will not attack rashly before determining the opponent's specific strength. As the saying goes, if the enemy does not move, I do not move. Yi Hao looked at the majestic dark demonic evil god tiger with great interest. A 100-year Titan giant ape can contend with ordinary 10,000-year spirit beasts, and a 60,000-year dark demonic evil god tiger is stronger than a 100,000-year Titan giant ape. Its bloodline is indeed powerful. It is barely qualified to be a mount. Just imagine riding a majestic dark demonic evil god tiger while traveling the world. Wouldn't that instantly boost one's prestige? Zyro Wu felt that Yi Hao's idea was too outlandish and shook her head gently. Your Excellency Flame Emperor, you might be disappointed. The dark demonic evil god tiger is one of the top-tier spirit beasts. Its bloodline is noble, and it would never submit to being beneath a human. Even a king among spirit beasts like the Titan giant ape would not submit to humans, let alone the dark demonic evil god tiger. Roar! At this moment, the dark demonic evil god tiger let out an angry roar. It could understand the conversation between Yi Hao and Zyro Wu. That human youth actually harbored delusions of taking it as a mount. He was truly audacious. And that 100,000-year soft bones rabbit who had taken human form, as a spirit beast, she was actually colluding with a human. It would be perfect to devour them both at once. Perhaps it could directly become a 100,000-year spirit beast. As long as its cultivation reached 100,000 years, no one in the Stardew Great Forest would be able to pose a threat to it anymore. Even that 100,000-year Titan giant ape and that 100,000-year Sky Azure Bull Python would not escape the fate of being devoured by it. Detected that the dark demonic evil god tiger has developed killing intent toward the host. Please defeat the dark demonic evil god tiger. Mission reward: Heavenly Fire Infinite Transformation. Heavenly Fire Infinite Transformation, an upgraded version of the Heavenly Flame 3 Mysterious Transformations. It uses the power of exotic flames to temporarily increase rank without limitations. Theoretically, as long as the quantity and strength of the exotic flames are sufficient, the room for improvement is infinite. The system mission has been triggered, and the reward is an upgraded version of the Heavenly Flame 3 Mysterious Transformations. In that case, even if the dark demonic evil god tiger wanted to escape, it would be too late. There was no way he would let a reward already within his grasp run away. How would I know without trying? Yi Hao answered Zyro Wu with a smile. Afterward, he turned his attention to the dark demonic evil god tiger, and the more he looked, the more he felt it was suitable to be his mount. Don't be angry, little tiger. Becoming my mount is your honor. If you don't do it now, it will be too late when you want to later. Whoosh! Boundless spirit power erupted, and 9 spirit rings, 8 black and 1 red, appeared. A look of astonishment appeared in the dark demonic evil god tiger's pair of red tiger eyes as it stared fixedly at Yi Hao's 9 spirit rings. It was quite knowledgeable about human spirit masters. Even most of the top-tier powerhouses among spirit masters, the titled Douluo, only had a spirit ring configuration of 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 5 black. Yet this human youth before it had not only become a titled Douluo at such a young age, but he also possessed a terrifying spirit ring configuration of 8 black and 1 red. No wonder it felt a dangerous aura from him. He was truly no ordinary titled Douluo. Zyro Wu stepped back. Yi Hao instructed Zyro Wu, then took a step forward, condensing exotic flames into an exotic flame ruler in his hand. Facing the dark demonic evil god tiger, which was stronger than the Titan giant ape, he decided to go all out and not hold back his strength. Without displaying sufficiently powerful strength, how could he subdue the dark demonic evil god tiger to be his mount? Killing intent appeared in the dark demonic evil god tiger's eyes. Multiple energies condensed around its body, and it instantly fired dozens of dark red light blades, slashing toward Yi Hao and Zyro Wu. The light blades were formed from the fusion of wind and evil attributes. Relying on the powerful cutting ability of the wind attribute, combined with the formidable corrosion of the evil attribute, their power was astonishing. Facing the dark demonic evil god tiger's probing attack, Yi Hao swung the exotic flame ruler, slashing out a crimson strike that blocked the incoming light blades, and said playfully, "Dark demonic evil god tiger, although I am only a rank 93 titled Douluo, if you don't bring out some real skills to prove you are qualified to be my mount, you will die here." Boom! A surge of spirit power, even more vast than before, erupted from Yi Hao's body. In an instant, his spirit power rank had reached rank 98, and his pressure permeated the entire area. Heavenly Flame 3 Mysterious Transformations, 3rd Transformation. Now, his spirit power rank was second only to the 3-limit Douluo of the Douluo Continent. If one added those powerful trump cards of his, even a limit Douluo would not be his match. Facing the dark demonic evil god tiger, with such a supremely powerful stance, was the courtesy he extended to his future mount. Zyro Wu, who had quickly retreated from the battlefield, felt the powerful spirit power fluctuations emanating from Yi Hao at this moment, and was filled with astonishment. This was Yi Hao's true strength. If he had fought Ming with this strength earlier, I fear Ming would have died with a single finger. This made Zyro Wu realize that perhaps Yi Hao had been planning something from the very beginning and had not intended to kill Ming. It was just that she could not guess what Yi Hao's ultimate goal was. With Yi Hao's strength, shouldn't he be able to roam the continent recklessly? Feeling the oppressive sensation emanating from Yi Hao at this moment, the dark demonic evil god tiger immediately felt that something was wrong. This titled Douluo youth was stronger than the Sky Azure Bull Python and the Titan giant ape combined. It could not contend with him. Escape. The dark demonic evil god tiger completed a shift in mindset in an instant. No longer thinking about hunting and devouring Yi Hao and Zyro Wu, it turned, leaped into the air, and charged toward the distance, vanishing in an instant. Dash. This was one of its special spirit abilities. It could be used on the ground or in the air, and its speed was comparable to teleportation. But unlike teleportation, this dash ability required moving in a straight line to reach the intended target. If it encountered obstacles midway, a collision would occur, unlike teleportation, which allowed one to appear directly in another location. Furthermore, when it charged, its evil power would also fully erupt, making the attack along that straight line twice as powerful as usual. It could retreat to escape or advance to attack. In a sense, this ability was even more powerful than teleportation. Seeing this, Yi Hao's fifth spirit ring lit up, and undying flame wings appeared behind him. He flew into the air and shot out like a cannonball, giving chase to the fleeing dark demonic evil god tiger. Furthermore, spirit power was constantly condensing and erupting beneath his feet to accelerate him. He was exactly in the midst of using explosive step. With the sustained high-speed flight of the undying flame wings and the instantaneous burst speed of explosive step, Yi Hao finally caught sight of the dark demonic evil god tiger's figure. To prevent the dark demonic evil god tiger from continuing to escape, he raised his hand and released a large expanse of exotic flames on all four sides of the dark demonic evil god tiger, creating a massive exotic flame wall on each side. Second spirit ability, Flame Enclosure. The dark demonic evil god tiger had thought it had successfully escaped, but who would have known that suddenly, four walls of fire would rise up, trapping it inside. It turned and looked up into the sky, seeing that the human youth had already caught up. It seemed there was nowhere left to run. Yi Hao looked down at the dark demonic evil god tiger from high in the air, a teasing expression on his face. Why are you running before the fight has even started? Where is your dignity as a top-tier spirit beast? This doesn't seem like behavior becoming of a dark demonic evil god tiger. Chapter 41, Beating Down the Dark Demonic Evil God Tiger. The dark demonic evil god tiger stared at Yi Hao, its eyes becoming even more brutal after being taunted. Roar! It let out a loud roar, and layers of grey light condensed into a sphere around its body, emitting a heart-palpitating fluctuation as it blasted toward Yi Hao. Dark demonic evil thunder. This is a powerful spirit ability of the dark demonic evil god tiger, capable of fusing its own demonic power and evil power into one, then instantly erupting with terrifying might. It is a mixed attribute area of effect attack of wind, thunder, and evil. You have a thunder sphere, I have a fire sphere, let's see whose is stronger. Yi Hao grinned, and his ninth spirit ring lit up. He pointed a finger toward the sky, and the three-colored exotic flames soared into the sky, condensing into a three-colored fire sphere with a diameter exceeding 100 meters. The next moment, the fire sphere continued to plummet from the sky, like a blazing sun falling. Ninth spirit ability, Heavenly Sun World Extinguisher. Boom! The three-colored fire sphere collided with the dark demonic evil thunder, with flames and thunder clashing. However, in just an instant, the fire sphere annihilated the thunder sphere, continuing to blast toward the dark demonic evil god tiger with world-extinguishing might. Seeing this scene, the dark demonic evil god tiger felt a life-threatening danger, and the evil god hook used for attacking on its tail instantly erupted with a layer of intense grey airflow to protect itself. Evil god body protection. This is its strongest defensive spirit ability, with a long duration and without restricting its own actions. The next instant, the dark demonic evil god tiger, having activated evil god body protection, simultaneously used dash, charging straight up into the air to confront the three-colored fire sphere head-on. Bang! The two forces collided, the fire sphere exploded, and the dazzling three-colored flames shot out in all directions, dyeing the sky red and covering the dark demonic evil god tiger. After a full dozens of breaths, the three-colored flames dissipated in the air, and the air was filled with a scorching heat. Yi Hao looked closely and saw the dark demonic evil god tiger falling from the sky, slamming heavily onto the ground. It shouldn't be dead, right? Swish! Yi Hao swooped down, landing in front of the dark demonic evil god tiger, and was surprised to find that the dark demonic evil god tiger was not seriously injured, but had just entered a weakened state. Evil god body protection indeed has amazing defensive power, and combined with the dash ability, the two together barely blocked his ninth spirit ability, Heavenly Sun World Extinguisher. As expected of the dark demonic evil god tiger, to have such strength with only 60,000 years of cultivation, it will be even more powerful when it reaches 100,000 years in the future. It's qualified to be a mount. The dark demonic evil god tiger's massive body moved, then it suddenly sprang up, swiping a claw at Yi Hao, who was close at hand. Sneak attack. Yi Hao's expression did not change, and he raised his hand to point a finger out. Flame Emperor's finger. The three-colored exotic flame bloomed at his fingertip, erupting with a destructive energy fluctuation, instantly blasting the dark demonic evil god tiger to the ground. This was the result of Yi Hao holding back. Otherwise, the full power of the Flame Emperor finger erupting at such close range would have been enough to kill the dark demonic evil god tiger. He looked at the dark demonic evil god tiger, which seemed unwilling to give up as it climbed back up, and gave a warning. Don't think about using that ability of yours that can pull opponents into an alternate space and revert their age to childhood to deal with me. Once inside, only one of us can come out alive, and that person will only be me. My flame is not a spirit, it won't be affected by your ability. Even if I return to childhood, I can still easily kill you. If one truly entered the dark demonic evil god tiger's life and death arena, the only one to die would be the dark demonic evil god tiger. The dark demonic evil god tiger seemed to be contemplating the truth of Yi Hao's words. It stared at the three-colored flames burning on Yi Hao, and ultimately gave up on casting Life and Death Arena, opting instead to cast Darkness Domain. A grayish light erupted from within its body, spreading to over 100 meters away with it as the center, forming a domain of extreme evil and extreme darkness. Within this domain, its strength and speed would both be enhanced, entering its most perfect combat stance. Yi Hao said coldly, "Still want to make a desperate struggle? Can't you really see that I have held back in all my attacks?" After he used Heavenly Flame 3 mysterious transformations, his spirit power rank had reached rank 98. Even without using the exotic flame, it was not something the dark demonic evil god tiger could contend with. He had also held back his strength in the previous 9th spirit ability and the Flame Emperor finger, otherwise the dark demonic evil god tiger might have already died. Being within the domain, the dark demonic evil god tiger seemed to have regained its confidence, pouncing over in an instant, with one claw aiming straight for Yi Hao's head. It wanted to kill in one blow. What a disobedient wild cat, it seems I have to beat you into submission. Yi Hao's exotic flame ruler condensed in his hand once again, and he struck out, hitting the dark demonic evil god tiger heavily before it could react. Bang! The dark demonic evil god tiger's massive body was knocked flying by the strike, and before it could steady itself, Yi Hao attacked again, slapping another strike onto its head with the ruler. What followed was a battle without any suspense, or rather, it shouldn't be called a battle, because it was Yi Hao unilaterally beating up the dark demonic evil god tiger. When he had his fill of fun, he even dispersed the exotic flame ruler, and with his bare hands, grabbed the dark demonic evil god tiger and smashed it repeatedly. Undersea drop. For the final blow, Yi Hao grabbed the dark demonic evil god tiger, flew into midair, and then threw it toward the ground with full force. Boom! The dark demonic evil god tiger slammed into the ground like a meteorite, kicking up dust that filled the sky and smashing a crater several tens of meters deep into the ground. It struggled to lift its head in the crater to look at Yi Hao in the air, its red eyes filled with confusion. And then it passed out. Congratulations to the host for defeating the dark demonic evil god tiger, successfully completing the mission, and rewarding Heavenly Fire Infinite Transformation. A stream of complex information flooded into Yi Hao's mind, which he quickly absorbed and understood. Since Heavenly Fire Infinite Transformation is an upgraded version of Heavenly Flame 3 Mysterious Transformations, for him, who had already mastered Heavenly Flame 3 Mysterious Transformations, mastering it was a matter of course. It's just that he currently only has 3 types of exotic flame. Even if the secret technique is upgraded, the improvement to his strength actually doesn't change much, unless he can obtain more exotic flames. He wasn't in a hurry, there would be plenty of opportunities to collect exotic flames in the future. In the current Douluo Continent, he could basically travel unimpeded. Yi Hao grabbed the dark demonic evil god tiger by the neck with one hand and flew up, soon finding Zyro Wu, who had retreated outside the edge of the Stardew Great Forest. He thought to himself that Zyro Wu had truly retreated very far, having even retreated out of the Stardew Great Forest. When he descended from the sky carrying the dark demonic evil god tiger, Zyro Wu's pretty face was full of shock. "You beat it to death." A storm was raging in Zyro Wu's heart. One must know that the dark demonic evil god tiger was top tier at escaping, and in a one-on-one fight it was almost invincible. Yet, it had actually been defeated by Yi Hao alone. Yi Hao tossed the dark demonic evil god tiger aside casually, didn't beat it to death, just knocked it unconscious. When it wakes up, we'll let it carry us to chase after Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, and Zhao Wuji and the others. It is destined to be this mount. Zyro Wu was a bit numb. Yi Hao's strength was always so unfathomable, with no bottom in sight. Saying he wanted the dark demonic evil god tiger as a mount, he actually knocked the dark demonic evil god tiger unconscious and captured it to be a mount. She felt it would be hard to find a second person in the entire Douluo Continent with such strength and ability to act. "Stop sleeping, wake up." Yi Hao slapped the dark demonic evil god tiger's head hard, and then saw the dark demonic evil god tiger open its eyes in a daze. The newly awakened dark demonic evil god tiger was still a bit unclear-headed, looking at the strange environment before it, revealing a vacant, dazed look. Where did this bring me? Is this still inside the Stardew Great Forest? Chapter 42, Mount Little Black. Seeing the dark demonic evil god tiger wake up, Yi Hao said with a smile, "Awake, then let's have a proper talk about you becoming my mount. With me, you can go anywhere in this vast world. Isn't that much better than hiding away in the Stardew Great Forest? Enough nonsense, you have two choices, either be my mount or die." The mission reward was already in hand. If the dark demonic evil god tiger refused to be sensible, he would have no choice but to kill it. Destruction was not his original intention if he couldn't obtain it, but the dark demonic evil god tiger's potential was too great. If it refused to submit, he had to nip the trouble in the bud. The dark demonic evil god tiger's pair of red eyes stared fixedly at Yi Hao. It desperately wanted to bite this human to death, but dared not make a move. Judging by how Yi Hao had beaten it up with his bare hands without using any spirit ability at the end of the previous battle, it had absolutely no power to resist against him. Their strengths were not on the same level. Zyro Wu, standing to the side, was breathing cautiously. To her, it was no exaggeration to call the dark demonic evil god tiger a natural enemy. Even before she transformed, as a 100,000-year soul beast, she was no match for the dark demonic evil god tiger. "Make your decision quickly, my patience is limited," Yi Hao urged. He extended his right hand, and three-colored strange flames ignited, containing energy capable of destroying the heavens and extinguishing the earth. Just a trace of the fluctuation emitted was enough to make the dark demonic evil god tiger feel danger. This was a naked threat. The dark demonic evil god tiger's eyes showed struggle, and finally it lowered its proud head. It chose to submit to Yi Hao's might. When one's skills are inferior to others, one has no choice but to submit. Being a mount was better than losing its life. Besides, how short a human's lifespan was. In a few hundred or 1,000 years, the human youth before it would pass away, which to it was just a very short period of time. Endure for a moment and find peace. Take a step back and see the vast sky. Seeing the dark demonic evil god tiger bow its head in submission, Yi Hao was in a great mood. "Your choice is very wise. It is better to live in disgrace than to die in glory. Besides, following me will actually be an opportunity for you." He grabbed Zyro Wu's hand and leaped up, and the two sat together on the back of the dark demonic evil god tiger. The dark demonic evil god tiger's body size exceeded 8 meters, far larger than an ordinary tiger, so seating 2 people was more than enough. Zyro Wu felt it was very unreal. The dignified dark demonic evil god tiger had actually truly submitted, becoming Yi Hao's mount, and she was even sitting on the back of the dark demonic evil god tiger. Detected that the host has subdued the dark demonic evil god tiger as a mount. Reward: Creation Destruction God Bead. Creation Destruction God Bead. After a beast swallows it, it can achieve super-evolution and obtain creation, divine force, and destruction, divine force. Yi Hao was very surprised. He hadn't expected that subduing the dark, demonic, evil god tiger as a mount would not only have a reward, but the reward would be so heaven-defying. It was just a pity that it was for the mount to use, not for himself. "Little Black, you'll enjoy great fortune following me." Yi Hao sighed with emotion, then pointed out the direction for the dark, demonic, evil god tiger to travel. Teacher Zhao, His Excellency, the Flame Emperor and Zyro Wu haven't caught up yet. Could something have happened? In the group heading towards Shrek Academy, Ning Rongrong looked back from time to time, but she never saw the figure she was worried about. Zhao Wuji was dismissive. Even the Titan giant ape is no match for His Excellency, the Flame Emperor. What could possibly happen? Perhaps he is still choosing a suitable spirit beast for Zyro Wu, so stop worrying blindly. In his understanding, the Titan giant ape was the king of the forest in the Stardew Great Forest, and there shouldn't be any stronger spirit beast in the Stardew Great Forest. Tang San heard Zhao Wuji's words and cursed in his heart, hoping Yi Hao would be besieged by spirit beasts and die. As for Zyro Wu, if she chose Yi Hao over him, then she could just die in the Stardew Great Forest too. At this moment, Oscar also turned around to look behind him, and he actually saw a black figure approaching at high speed in the distance. Something is rushing towards us from behind, and it's very fast. The others heard this and all stopped to turn and look. Zhao Wuji's expression changed greatly. It's a spirit beast. With such speed, its cultivation is likely not low. He instantly activated his spirit, and 7 spirit rings appeared, preparing for battle. The black shadow was approaching rapidly, and gradually they could see 2 people sitting on its back. Ning Rongrong shouted excitedly. "There seems to be someone on the spirit beast's back. It's His Excellency, the Flame Emperor and Zyro Wu." It was Yi Hao who had returned. Almost everyone smiled and breathed a sigh of relief, except for Tang San, whose face turned ugly. The dark, demonic, evil god tiger was very fast. Even without using any spirit ability, its normal running speed exceeded the flight speed of an ordinary titled Douluo. Whoosh! The black shadow flashed and arrived, stopping in front of Ning Rongrong and the others. The group watched as Yi Hao and Zyro Wu arrived sitting on the tall, fierce black giant tiger, all feeling deeply shocked. Using a tiger-type spirit beast as a mount. On the Douluo Continent, not many spirit masters had ever done this. After all, spirit beasts entering human society were a potential safety hazard. Once they launched an attack, ordinary people and low-level spirit masters would be slaughtered on a large scale. Wow, this black tiger is so cool and majestic. Ning Rongrong circled the dark, demonic, evil god tiger, praising it endlessly. She looked at Yi Hao and Zyro Wu sitting on the tiger's back, feeling even more envious. Oscar was even more full of admiration. As expected of His Excellency, the Flame Emperor, he actually subdued a big tiger from the Stardew Great Forest as a mount. Looking at the aura of this black tiger, it should be a 10,000-year spirit beast, right? Maybe its strength is about the same as Teacher Zhao's. Generally speaking, a spirit saint among humans is equivalent to an ordinary spirit beast with 50,000 years of cultivation. In terms of cultivation alone, the 60,000-year dark, demonic, evil god tiger was indeed about the same as the level 76 Zhao Wuji. As for strength, that was a world of difference. Unlike Oscar and Ning Rongrong, Zhao Wuji, Zhu Zhuqing, and Ma Hongjun, who possessed beast spirits, were more sensitive to the aura and bloodline of spirit beasts. Even though the black giant tiger before them didn't emit a shred of pressure, the invisible aura it displayed just by standing there made them feel a suppression coming from their spirits. Facing the black giant tiger, their spirits felt like ants facing a dragon, and they couldn't help but feel fear in their hearts. At the same time, Tang San also sensed that the black giant tiger under Yi Hao was by no means an ordinary tiger-type spirit beast. It was at least a spirit beast at the level of a king. Yi Hao laughed upon hearing this. Little Black and Teacher Zhao have similar strength, perhaps. Zhao Wuji was not weak among spirit saints, and dealing with an ordinary 60,000-year spirit beast was not impossible, but comparing him to the dark, demonic, evil god tiger was simply an insult to the dark, demonic, evil god tiger. If Yi Hao wasn't on its back right now, The dark, demonic, evil god tiger would really want to slap Oscar to death with one paw. This guy actually said its strength might be about the same as the big human man next to it, which almost angered it to death. Ning Rongrong couldn't help but speak up. His Excellency, the Flame Emperor, I want to sit on the black tiger's back too. Why could Zyro Wu sit so close to His Excellency, the Flame Emperor, on the same mount? She wasn't convinced and wanted to sit too. Fine, then you come up, and Zhuking, you come up too. Yi Hao readily agreed. He gently patted the dark, demonic, evil god tiger, signaling it to lower its body to let the two women come up. The dark, demonic, evil god tiger was so angry that smoke almost came out of its nose. Any ant could sit on its back. Did it still have any face left? The next second it lay on the ground, as docile as a kitten. Chapter 43, Riding the Tiger into the City. This black tiger is so well behaved. Seeing how intelligent and well behaved the dark, demonic, evil god tiger was, Ning Rongrong curiously stroked the dark, demonic, evil god tiger's head, then climbed onto the tiger's back from the side, skillfully squeezing herself between Zyro Wu and Yi Hao. Hey, you're pressing too close to me, Yi Hao said, sounding annoyed. His chest was now pressed tightly against Ning Rongrong. It was truly chest-to-back contact. Ning Rongrong retorted, then Your Excellency Flame Emperor should move back a bit. The black tiger is so big, it wouldn't be a problem for 5 people to sit on it. What she said was not false. The dark, demonic, evil god tiger was over 8 meters long, so sitting 5 people was indeed possible. Upon hearing this, Yi Hao had no choice but to move back a little. It wasn't that he didn't like being pressed against a young girl, he just didn't want to be a pedophile. Your Excellency Flame Emperor, I think I won't get on. Zhu Zhuking's voice sounded weakly at this moment. Her exquisite and moving little face was deathly pale. She seemed to be intimidated by the dark, demonic, evil god tiger. The Hell Civet was not weak, but compared to the dark, demonic, evil god tiger, there was simply no comparison. Don't be afraid, Zyro Hai is very obedient. Yi Hao smiled and comforted her, reaching out his right hand towards Zhu Zhuking. If the dark, demonic, evil god tiger dared to be disobedient, he would destroy it in a matter of minutes. Seeing this, Zhu Zhuking had no choice but to muster her courage, take a step forward, and reach out to grab Yi Hao's right hand. With Yi Hao exerting force, she was easily pulled onto the back of the dark, demonic, evil god tiger, and after adjusting her position, she sat at the very front. Oscar looked at Yi Hao longingly. Your Excellency Flame Emperor, what about us? Sitting on the black tiger's back was truly majestic and domineering. He wanted to sit too. You just go back with old Zhao and the others, we'll head out first. Yi Hao left behind a light sentence, patted the black tiger slightly, and his figure instantly vanished. It's so good to be a woman. Oscar watched as the dark, demonic, evil god tiger carried Yi Hao and the others away, vanishing in an instant, and felt extremely envious. He wasn't envious of Yi Hao, but of Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuking, and Zyro Wu. Tang San's expression was gloomy to the extreme. From start to finish, Zyro Wu hadn't said a single word to him, completely ignoring him. This made him unbearable. Zyro Wu, you were the one who betrayed me first. Don't blame me for not remembering our past affection in the future. Meanwhile, a letter was quietly sent out from Kaxu City. This letter was given to a courier by Dai Mubai when he arrived in Kaxu City. At the time, he had instructed the courier that if he did not come to retrieve the letter within 2 days, the letter should be sent to the address he left behind. The dark, demonic, evil god tiger was extremely fast, speeding all the way to Soto City, scaring Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuking, and Zyro Wu on its back quite a bit. It was their first time seeing such astonishing speed, and it was from their own mount, no less. Yi Hao was extremely calm, even feeling that it wasn't fast enough. His flight speed after using the undying flame wings was faster than this, and with explosive step, it was far superior. Of course, if the dark, demonic, evil god tiger used the dash skill, it would be even faster. Not long after, thanks to the dark, demonic, evil god tiger's astonishing speed, they had arrived at Soto City. As soon as they entered Soto City, pedestrians were startled by the dark, demonic, evil god tiger, thinking a spirit beast was attacking the city. Only when they saw the few people sitting on the tiger's back did they breathe a sigh of relief. Yi Hao and the others rode the giant black tiger, wandering through the city, deliberately slowing down, feeling very comfortable. Especially when seeing the people in the city casting looks of fear, envy, and curiosity, Ning Rongrong's vanity was satisfied to the extreme. "You people over there, stop!" Just at this moment, a voice with a commanding tone rang out. Yi Hao frowned slightly and gently patted the dark, demonic, evil god tiger, signaling it to stop. He looked closely and discovered it was a group of young spirit masters, ranging in age from 18 to 25, with cultivation levels ranging from spirit master to spirit elder. At this age and with this level of cultivation, they couldn't be called trash, just mediocre. They weren't even worth a second glance if seen on the side of the road. However, since the other party had called out, he wanted to see what they wanted. "Do you need something?" The leader of this group of young spirit masters heard this, and with an unruly expression, pointed at the dark, demonic, evil god tiger and ordered Yi Hao. "Your spirit beast mount is not bad. Give it to me and then you lot can get lost." Beside him, the 6 young spirit masters in the group all grinned and laughed, looking like they were watching a show. The people around them saw this and retreated, even taking detours, fearing they would offend these 7 young spirit masters. Ning Rongrong was a young miss by nature, and simply wouldn't tolerate this group of young spirit masters, so she opened her mouth and scolded. "Who do you think you are, daring to come and snatch Zyro High? Get lost right now." The leading young spirit master saw Ning Rongrong speaking to him like that, and was immediately enraged, shouting angrily. "How bold! I am Liu Xingde, the grandson of Cardinal Liu Okaz of the Spirit Hall main branch in Soto City. I now suspect you of bringing a spirit beast into Soto City with ulterior motives. I order you to surrender and accept the judgment of the Spirit Hall main branch." The 6 young spirit masters beside him also activated their spirits at this moment. Among them were 3 spirit elders and 3 spirit grandmasters. Spirit Hall main branch, a cardinal. Yi Hao had a playful look on his face. This was his first time dealing with people related to the Spirit Hall, and he hadn't expected this kind of opening. Liu Xingde thought Yi Hao was afraid and spoke triumphantly. "As long as you give me this black tiger and leave those 3 girls behind, I will allow you to leave. Otherwise, I'm afraid you'll suffer today." Don't look at the fact that he was only a spirit master. He was used to acting like a tyrant in Soto City, relying on his grandfather being a cardinal. There was no one who wasn't afraid once he mentioned his grandfather's name. This also made him take it for granted that no one in Soto City dared to defy him. "So what if you're a cardinal? We're not afraid." Ning Rongrong was not afraid at all. As the young miss of the 7 treasure glazed tile school, her status was much more noble than a cardinal's grandson. Even if the cardinal came in person, he wouldn't dare do anything to her. Liu Xingde said coldly, "You refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit, then don't blame me for being impolite. Get them, cripple the man, and capture the women." Following his order, the 6 young spirit masters pressed in on Yi Hao and the others. "Zyro High, swallow them," Yi Hao ordered, feeling slightly bored. 3 spirit elders, 3 spirit grandmasters, and 1 spirit master. They weren't even enough to get stuck between the dark, demonic, evil god tiger's teeth, let alone pique his interest. The dark, demonic, evil god tiger had long wanted to swallow these idiots. Now that it heard Yi Hao's order, its eyes lit up, and it opened its bloody maw. Black energy condensed in its mouth, turning into a black vortex that erupted with astonishing suction, like a black hole, instantly swallowing Liu Xingde and the 6 young spirit masters. The dark, demonic, evil god tiger possessed 6 attributes: evil, space, time, lightning, strength, and wind. It had an alien dimension inside its body, and could directly swallow spirit masters and spirit beasts, then absorb their spirit power and life force to increase its own cultivation. This made its cultivation speed terrifying. As long as there were sufficiently powerful spirit masters and spirit beasts for it to swallow, it was not impossible to break through from 60,000 years of cultivation to 100,000 years within a year. Precisely because of this, no matter what environment the dark, demonic, evil god tiger appeared in, it would be attacked by groups of spirit beasts, making it extremely difficult to survive. Once allowed to grow, it would become a catastrophe for the spirit beast world. Chapter 44: The Arrival of Yu Xiaogang. Little Black is actually this amazing. Ening Rongrong was startled. It was her first time witnessing such a bizarre and powerful devouring ability. However, she was also a bit worried. Your Excellency Flame Emperor, if that person really was the grandson of the Cardinal of the Spirit Hall main branch in Soto City, that Cardinal might not let this matter rest. Letting her mount devour the grandson of a Spirit Hall Cardinal in public within the city, if one were to blow this matter out of proportion, it could even be classified as an act of hostility against Spirit Hall. At the very least, that Cardinal would definitely come to cause trouble. Yi Hao looked indifferent. It's fine. A Spirit Hall Cardinal isn't anyone important. If he really dares to come, I'll just have Little Black send him to see his grandson. Back in the day, Tang Hao dared to fight the Supreme Pontiff of Spirit Hall, just after becoming a titled Douluo, and now, even the level 95 Tang Hao had been beaten away by him. A mere Cardinal was truly beneath his notice. Even if Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong of Spirit Hall came, he might find it slightly tricky, but only slightly. After this small interlude, Yi Hao, Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, and Xiao Wu sat on the back of the dark demonic evil god tiger and took a stroll around Soto City, not returning to Shrek Academy until dusk. Coincidentally, they ran into Teacher Zhao, Oscar Ma Hongjun, and Tang San, who had just returned at the entrance. Yi Hao said with a smile, "Yo, you've returned quite early. Perfect, let's enter the academy together." Seeing Oscar's pale complexion, he understood why these few had returned so much faster than when they left. They must have eaten quite a few of Oscar's flying mushroom sausage along the way. As the group entered Shrek Academy, they saw Flender and another middle-aged man on the playground. The middle-aged man looked slightly slovenly, and his spirit power was very weak, only a level 29 spirit grandmaster. Furthermore, among spirit masters of the same level, he felt like he belonged to the weakest tier. Teacher. Tang San, who was following at the back of the group, was slightly stunned when he saw the middle-aged man, and then he rushed forward with great excitement, his face beaming with surprise. He hadn't expected his teacher to actually come. The middle-aged man was none other than the proposer of the 10 core competencies of spirits, Yu Xiaogang, known as the Grandmaster. Ening Rongrong looked Yu Xiaogang up and down and muttered softly, "Teacher, this person is actually Tang San's teacher. He looks even weaker than Tang San." She was already a level 32 spirit elder, and in her eyes, Yu Xiaogang was completely a weakling. Flender clapped his hands to attract everyone's attention and then introduced Yu Xiaogang to them solemnly. "Come, let me introduce everyone. This is the Grandmaster, Yu Xiaogang. From now on, he will be responsible for guiding your training." Ma Hongjun curled his lip. He's not even as strong as Teacher Zhao. What could he possibly guide us in? It wasn't that he was looking down on Yu Xiaogang, but rather that no matter how one looked at him, Yu Xiaogang didn't seem like a talented person. He looked more like a middle-aged man who hadn't achieved anything. Ma Hongjun, shut your mouth. Flender shouted in a low voice, his face showing displeasure. No matter what, Yu Xiaogang was someone he had invited, and furthermore, he was his old friend. He had to give him some face. Yu Xiaogang, however, paid no attention to Ma Hongjun or even Tang San. From the moment he saw the dark, demonic, evil god tiger, he had been staring at it. This spirit beast is. To be able to make his own spirit feel suppressed, this spirit beast was definitely extraordinary. However, even with his experience, he couldn't immediately deduce what kind of spirit beast it was. Ening Rongrong, Xiao Wu, and Zhu Zhuqing climbed down from the back of the dark, demonic, evil god tiger one after another. Only then did Flender notice that it was Yi Hao controlling this black tiger spirit beast, and he immediately spoke fawningly. "Your Excellency Flame Emperor actually obtained a black tiger mount. How congratulatory." Yi Hao nodded slightly, but his gaze fell on Yu Xiaogang. This good-for-nothing grandmaster who misled his students had arrived. Hearing Flender's words, Yu Xiaogang was astonished. He shifted his gaze to Yi Hao on the back of the dark, demonic, evil god tiger, his heart filled with suspicion. "Your Excellency, could this youth be a titled Douluo? Impossible. According to his understanding of the history of spirit masters, there had never been such a young titled Douluo in the entire history of the Douluo Continent. Even the youngest titled Douluo of the current era, Tang Hao, only became a titled Douluo in his 40s. Flender hurriedly introduced Yi Hao to Yu Xiaogang. Xiaogang, this is His Excellency the Flame Emperor, a 17-year-old titled Douluo. He is likely an existence unprecedented in the history of the Douluo Continent. When he had contacted Yu Xiaogang earlier, he hadn't explained Yi Hao's situation, only providing information about the other students. Yu Xiaogang frowned tightly and denied it. A 17-year-old titled Douluo. Impossible, absolutely impossible. According to my theoretical research, there is no such young titled Douluo in the world. He believed his theory couldn't be wrong. A 17-year-old titled Douluo was simply too shocking. It was impossible for anyone to cultivate that quickly. Xiaogang Yu. Flender was anxious. He hadn't expected Yu Xiaogang to dare to deny it when the person was right in front of him. Wasn't this just looking for trouble? If he angered Yi Hao, he wouldn't be able to protect Yu Xiaogang. As soon as Ning Rongrong heard Yu Xiaogang deny Yi Hao, she didn't care whether Yu Xiaogang was Tang San's teacher or Flender's friend. She immediately retorted, "How are you talking? Just because you're ignorant, you say it's impossible. And you're citing your theoretical research. What do you count for? You're so old and only level 29. Oscar also chimed in, "Exactly, just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it's impossible. I haven't seen your mother, does that mean you don't have a mother?" He had now completely become Yi Hao's fanboy. He would even dare to scold Flender, let alone a level 29 middle-aged man. Flender was dumbfounded. He didn't know what to say and didn't dare to speak up for Yu Xiaogang, fearing it would provoke Yi Hao's anger. He could only pray that Yu Xiaogang wouldn't continue to be foolish and say something stupid. Yu Xiaogang belatedly realized he had almost offended a titled Douluo and hurriedly backed down. "Apologies, that is not what I meant. Respected Your Excellency Flame Emperor." He didn't dare to offend a titled Douluo, even if he was a member of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan. "Then what did you mean?" Yi Hao sat on the tiger's back, looking down at Yu Xiaogang, and questioned him. It was one thing for Yu Xiaogang to be a good-for-nothing, but to deny he was a titled Douluo upon their first meeting. Was he seeking death, or did he think his life was too long? Yu Xiaogang hurriedly tried to make amends. "My meaning is, Your Excellency is an existence that surpasses my theoretical basis, a genius who breaks the conventional rules of the Douluo Continent." He hadn't yet proven he wasn't a good-for-nothing. He couldn't just get himself slapped to death for offending a titled Douluo. "Junior, dare you come out and fight?" Suddenly, a deep, resonant voice rang out, echoing throughout the entire Shrek Academy. Everyone looked toward the sound, and saw a man in a black robe standing in the air outside the academy, with 9 spirit rings rising beneath his feet. 2 yellow, 2 purple, 4 black, 1 red, a 9-ring titled Douluo with the optimal spirit ring configuration. Detected that the host has been provoked by Tang Hao again. Please defeat Tang Hao and cripple one of Tang Hao's arms as punishment. Mission reward 3000 lightning movement. Chapter 45, Beating Tang Hao Again. The sudden turn of events left everyone on the playground, except for Yi Hao, in a state of shock. The black-robed figure's 9 spirit rings indicated that he was a titled Douluo, and possessing a 100,000-year spirit ring meant he was among the elite of titled Douluo. "Your Excellency, clear sky." Yu Xiaogang stared at the person in the air, momentarily stunned, before subconsciously blurting out Tang Hao's identity. Back in Niuding City, Tang Hao had met with him in secret, and he had been dressed in the same attire then. "Your Excellency Clear Sky, this titled Douluo is that great figure from the Clear Sky sect." Upon hearing this, Flender exclaimed in disbelief. There was only one titled Douluo with the title of Clear Sky, and that was Tang Hao, the successor of the world's #1 sect, the Clear Sky sect, an existence who had once single-handedly severely injured the Supreme Pontiff of Spirit Hall and several other powerful figures from Spirit Hall. This person is Clear Sky Douluo. Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, Oscar, Zhao Wuji, and Ma Hongzhen were astonished to hear this. They had not expected that the legendary Clear Sky Douluo would actually come here. Judging by what was just said, it seemed he had come to declare war. Then, it went without saying who Tang Hao was declaring war against. "That is, Dad." Tang San's heart surged with stormy waves. Looking at the face revealed beneath Tang Hao's cloak, he felt it was incredibly surreal. His lazy father was actually a titled Douluo. This meant he had a backer. Yi Hao looked at the imposing Tang Hao with a calm expression. Tang Hao, last time you were beaten and fled in a panic. Do you dare to come looking for another beating this time? Last time he could only be said to have slightly suppressed Tang Hao, but now, the difference in strength between the two was like heaven and earth. The crowd on the playground was shocked once again. Yi Hao and Tang Hao had already clashed before, and it sounded like Tang Hao had come out on the losing. Forget to like, comment, subscribers, and share to Infinite Novel Audio. Your Excellency Flame Emperor, I support you. Regardless of who he is, beat him up. Oscar shouted wildly. He was very excited right now, even more so than the involved party, Yi Hao. Being able to witness a battle between two titled Douluo was a rare opportunity. Tang San looked at Yi Hao in astonishment. No way, right, he had thought he finally had a backer, but it turned out his father was no match for Yi Hao either. Impossible. If his father really wasn't Yi Hao's match, how could he dare to come and cause trouble for Yi Hao? Tang San believed that his father would definitely be stronger than Yi Hao. Perhaps today would be the day Yi Hao fell. HMPH, Junior, I was careless last time. This time you have absolutely no possibility of victory. Tang Hao was full of confidence. This time he would not be careless at all, and would absolutely not give Yi Hao any chances. Then, I'll play with you, but the price for provoking me is not light. Yi Hao's gaze suddenly turned cold. Swoosh! His figure shot into the sky from the dark demonic evil god tiger, standing in midair, with 9 spirit rings appearing beneath his feet. Black, 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 red. The unconventional spirit ring configuration of 8 black and 1 red made Tang Hao's optimal spirit ring configuration pale in comparison. Yu Xiaogang was greatly surprised. He had been shocked repeatedly today. His gaze swept back and forth between the two people in the air, and he frowned slightly. To have such an astonishing spirit ring configuration, even if his spirit power rank is not as high as Your Excellency Clear Sky, he may not necessarily lack the strength to fight. Tang San spoke confidently. Teacher, my father will win. The one who will be defeated will only be Yi Hao. In his perception, his father's spirit power rank was clearly higher than Yi Hao's, occupying a natural advantage. Your Excellency Flame Emperor is the most powerful, he couldn't possibly lose. Enning Rongrong retorted. Although she said this, she was very nervous inside, and her hands were already clenched unconsciously. The dark demonic evil god tiger only glanced at the two in the air, before withdrawing its gaze. Fight, fight, it would be best if they both suffered heavy injuries, then it could reap the benefits. If it could devour 2 powerful titled Douluo at once, it might just break through to 100,000-year cultivation. By then, it wouldn't believe there was anyone left in the world who could be its opponent. Let's fight outside the academy. Tang Hao glanced at Tang San on the playground below, fearing that he might accidentally injure his precious son during the battle. There is absolutely no need for that, the battle will end very quickly. Yi Hao refused. Swoosh! His figure suddenly shot out, approaching Tang Hao in an instant, and threw a punch carrying 3-colored strange fire. Tang Hao's heart trembled. Feeling a fatal danger, he chose his strongest method without any hesitation. 9-ring ring explosion. Boom! A terrifying fluctuation of spirit power erupted, and Tang Hao was seen brandishing the clear sky hammer, colliding with Yi Hao's fist. Heavenly Fire Infinite Transformation. The 3-colored strange fire overflowed from Yi Hao's body, directly sending Tang Hao flying. A special fire pattern appeared on his forehead. His spirit power rank also reached rank 98 at this moment. Tang Hao, today you will be defeated miserably. Yi Hao spoke chillingly, and the undying flame wings appeared behind his back. He tapped his foot against the void realm, his figure instantly advancing, the strange fire in his hand transforming into a ruler, and he slashed down heavily. Flame-splitting tsunami ruler. The crimson slash, carrying world-shaking power, hacked towards Tang Hao, forcing him to use the Clear Sky 9 absolutes to defend. Bang! Tang Hao used the Clear Sky hammer to resist, but was sent flying again. He could not believe this was the real result, and roared unwillingly. how can you be this strong? Judging from the result of his last battle with Yi Hao, it was clear that as long as he used ring explosion on all 9 rings from the start, he should have been able to defeat Yi Hao. But this time he had already chosen to use ring explosion on all 9 rings, yet the result was still that he was no match, and the gap was even larger than last time. Tang Hao, you are too weak. Yi Hao spoke with some disappointment. The so-called ring explosion was nothing more than this. Tang Hao, with his 9 rings exploded, could not pose the slightest threat to him. I'll fight you to the death. Tang Hao, with red eyes, brandished the clear sky hammer and charged at Yi Hao. He would not allow himself to fail again. Incompetent rage. Yi Hao said coldly, pointing a finger out. Flame Emperor's finger. The 3 types of strange fire poured out, and in the sky, carrying spirit power, they condensed into a giant finger reaching the heavens, suppressing down towards Tang Hao. No! Feeling that despair-inducing energy fluctuations, Tang Hao brandished the clear sky hammer to meet the attack, letting out a desperate roar. Bang! Under the one finger, Tang Hao was like an ant, slammed down from the air, crashing heavily onto the playground of Shrek Academy, smashing the playground into a mass of dense cracks and leaving a large crater. After striking Tang Hao down, the giant finger reaching the heavens, surrounded by 3-colored strange fire, dissipated in midair and did not continue to descend. Otherwise, that one finger could have annihilated everyone below. Dad! Tang San was filled with grief and indignation. He rushed into the large crater, and seeing Tang Hao bleeding from his 7 orifices, his heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. In 2 lifetimes as a human, he had only had one close relative, yet now this close relative was being beaten so miserably right before his eyes, making him hate his own incompetence. At the same time, he also marked Yi Hao as his number 1 mortal enemy in his heart. If he did not kill Yi Hao, he swore he would not be a man. Outside the playground, the whispering voices of Oscar and Ma Hongjun rang out. Is that really Clear Sky Douluo? It is rumored that he is domineering and strong, and no one can block his clear sky hammer, so why is he so vulnerable in front of your Excellency Flame Emperor? Looking at his spirit ring configuration and spirit, it should be Clear Sky Douluo without a doubt. I can only say your Excellency Flame Emperor is too strong, and the so-called Clear Sky Douluo is nothing in front of your Excellency Flame Emperor. Chapter 46, Severing one arm of Tang Hao. Yi Hao stepped through the air and descended, looking at Tang Hao, who was lying in a large crater with blood spilling from the corner of his mouth, and Tang San, who was beside him in deep sorrow. His expression was cold. Since you took the initiative to attack me, you must be mentally prepared to be defeated or even killed by me. He held the exotic flame ruler in his hand, radiating an extremely terrifying spirit power fluctuation, clearly having no intention of stopping. Flender, Xiao Wuji, and Yu Zairogang saw this scene and dared not even breathe loudly. They never expected that the Clear Sky Douluo, who was famous throughout the Spirit Master's world, would be so easily defeated in front of Yi Hao. Yu Zairogang in particular could not calm his heart. He had always regarded Tang Hao as an idol-like existence, but now that Tang Hao was being crushed by Yi Hao, it made him wonder if he had worshipped the wrong person in the past, and that Tang Hao was not as powerful as the rumors suggested. Seeing that Yi Hao was still about to strike, Tang San hurriedly knelt before Yi Hao to plead. Yi Hao, no, your Excellency Flame Emperor, I beg you to let my father go. Tang Hao turned his head slightly and saw his son kneeling to someone to plead, which made him so angry that another mouthful of blood surged from his mouth. Outstanding Battle Spirit Hammer, Towering Clear Sky Sect. How could a disciple of the Clear Sky Sect kneel to someone? I can spare Tang Hao's life, but he has come to trouble me more than once. Today, I will sever one of his arms as a slight punishment. As Yi Hao spoke, he swung the exotic flame ruler, sending out a crimson slash. No! Amidst Tang San's shouts, the slash landed instantly. Tang Hao's left arm was severed in an instant, and the ground gained a bottomless slash mark. Tang Hao let out a painful wail, and his spirit power quickly dropped to level 85. Losing his left arm caused his spirit power to drop by a full 10 levels. Dad! Tang San's eyes were bloodshot and tearing up. His eyes were bloodshot, and he desperately wanted to fight Yi Hao to the death right there. But he held back. He was currently no match for Yi Hao, and could only wait until his strength surpassed Yi Hao's in the future to avenge his father. Tang Hao used his spirit power to stop the bleeding from his severed arm wound. His face was pale, and he lay in the crater, speaking apologetically. "Little San, Dad is sorry. Not only did I fail to eliminate your great enemy for you, but I also brought trouble upon you." Tang San shook his head, reached out to hold Tang Hao's right arm, his eyes filled with tears. "No, Dad, it's all my fault. It's because I'm not strong enough." His hatred for Yi Hao climbed once again, and his goal in this life even became to kill Yi Hao. Successfully defeated Tang Hao and severed one of Tang Hao's arms. Mission complete. Reward 3,000 lightning movement. Information about 3,000 lightning movement flooded into Yi Hao's mind. A look of pleasant surprise appeared in his eyes. With 3,000 lightning movement, explosive step could now retire. 3,000 lightning movement was a top-tier movement technique. Its speed was as fast as lightning. As long as he cultivated it successfully, no one in the entire Douluo Continent should be able to match his speed. 3,000 lightning movement, combined with undying flame wings, could be called infinite teleportation. Tang Hao struggled to stand up, picked up his severed left arm, glanced at Yi Hao with a wary look, and said to Tang San, "Little San, let's leave here." He had already witnessed Yi Hao's terrifying power, and having exposed his relationship with Tang San, he naturally dared not let Tang San stay in Shrek Academy any longer. Although Yi Hao appeared very magnanimous now, and was not pursuing the matter with them, no one knew if he would change his mind in the future. "Okay, I will listen to you. Wherever you say we go, we will go." Tang San agreed without hesitation. In his heart, his father Tang Hao's words were absolutely correct and needed no questioning. Good child. Tang Hao was very gratified. Even if he was a failure, his child was outstanding, possessing 1 in 10,000 twin spirits, and would surely surpass him in the future to become a top powerhouse. Wait a moment. Yi Hao's voice suddenly rang out. Tang Hao and Tang San both trembled and looked at Yi Hao simultaneously. They secretly wondered if Yi Hao was not planning to let them leave after all. In that case, even if they combined their strength, they would not be Yi Hao's match, and they would likely be in grave danger. Yi Hao said indifferently, "Leave the arm behind." This arm was his spoils of war, and it contained a spirit bone inside. He could reward it to the dark demonic evil god Tiger later. Naturally, he could not let Tang Hao take it away. While angry, Tang Hao also breathed a sigh of relief. It was fortunate that he only had to leave behind his severed arm, not his life. Afterwards, he carefully placed down his severed left arm, feeling somewhat apprehensive. Yi Hao withdrew his gaze and said casually, "All right, go wherever you want." These two pairs of father and son could still trigger missions for him to farm rewards in the future, so he could keep them for now. Anyway, they couldn't pose any danger to him. However, just in case, he would visit Slaughter City and see God Island in the future to avoid giving Tang San any chance to rise. Tang San helped Tang Hao out of the crater, and then the two of them left Shrek Academy in a sorry state under the watchful eyes of everyone at Shrek Academy. Yu Xiaorogang opened his mouth but could not say anything. He had come to Shrek Academy for Tang San's sake. Now that Tang San had left, did he come for nothing? "Your Excellency Flame Emperor, you are truly too domineering. You are worthy of being my idol." Seeing Tang Hao and Tang San thoroughly gone, Oscar performed a sliding tackle to rush over, hugged Yi Hao's thigh, and started flattering him. Seeing Yi Hao defeat Tang Hao with such overwhelming force today made him even more determined to follow Yi Hao for life. "Get away." Enning Rongrong couldn't stand it, walked over, kicked Oscar away, and then held Yi Hao's right arm, saying coquettishly, "Your Excellency Flame Emperor is my idol alone." Feeling Ning Rongrong's rather well-endowed chest against his arm, Yi Hao calmly withdrew his arm, then turned to look at Flender and Zhao Wuji, who were standing to the side and not daring to speak. "I have troubled you during my time at Shrek Academy. I have decided to leave Shrek Academy and go to Heaven Dew City to establish my own Spirit Master Academy." Hearing this, everyone on the playground was stunned, except for Zyro Wu, who already knew. Enning Rongrong blinked her large eyes. Why is it so sudden? She had previously said that with Yi Hao's strength, He could completely establish an academy better than Shrek Academy, but at the time, Yi Hao did not express his stance, so she felt very surprised by his words now. Yi Hao explained, I am preparing to participate in the Continental Advanced Spirit Master Academy Elite Tournament. Not only do I need a competition team of at least 7 people, but the academy must also be an officially certified Advanced Spirit Master Academy. And Shrek Academy has not obtained certification and does not have the qualifications to participate. Am I right, Dean Flender? He had never intended to stay at Shrek Academy forever. Now that Tang San had left, continuing to stay here would likely make it difficult to obtain any system rewards. It was time to leave. Flender was somewhat embarrassed. Shrek Academy indeed has not obtained certification. It could be said that Shrek Academy was just a backyard academy. Without certification from the Empire or Kingdoms, it simply had no qualifications to participate in any academy tournament held by the Empire or Spirit Hall. Chapter 47, The Great Damp Yu Xirogang. Then I want to leave too, to the new academy you founded. Enning Rongrong did not hesitate. She had no feelings for Shrek Academy, she only held deep admiration for Yi Hao. Now that Yi Hao was leaving, it was impossible for her to stay behind. I'm leaving too. As the #1 bootlicker, Oscar was not one to be outdone. As for Flender and Shrek Academy, he couldn't care about that much anymore. Following His Excellency the Flame Emperor was more important. Your Excellency the Flame Emperor, Zhuking is also willing to leave with you. Zhu Zhuking's cold voice rang out at this moment. She had originally come to find Dai Mubai, but now that Dai Mubai was dead, following Yi Hao was her only choice. Yi Hao was very welcoming. I welcome you all to become my first batch of students. As he spoke, he glanced at the distracted Zyro Wu. Zyro Wu noticed Yi Hao's gaze and quickly expressed her stance. I am also willing to join His Excellency, the Flame Emperor's Spirit Master Academy. She had just been feeling sad for Tang San and Tang Hao. Having spent 6 years with Tang San, she still had feelings for him, and seeing his father meet such a miserable end made her feel somewhat unbearable. Flender was dumbfounded. Damn it, everyone was running away. Was he going to become a dean with no students? Unlike the lively atmosphere of Yi Hao and the others, the dark demonic evil god tiger kept staring at Tang Hao's left arm on the ground, practically salivating with anticipation. It could sense that it contained a spirit bone, which could provide it with quite a bit of cultivation. Yi Hao noticed the dark demonic evil god tiger's actions. Little Black, devour this arm with the spirit bone. This arm was originally left for the dark demonic evil god tiger. He even had thoughts of taking it to devour some powerful spirit masters or spirit beasts to quickly break through to 100,000 years. Once the dark demonic evil god tiger's cultivation reached 100,000 years, it would likely be hard to find an opponent below a level 99 limit Douluo. As for the creation destruction god bead that could allow beasts to super-evolve, he didn't intend to give it to the dark demonic evil god tiger yet, unless the day came when it was truly loyal to him. Having received Yi Hao's permission, the dark demonic evil god tiger did not hesitate in the slightest, opening its mouth to unleash a powerful devouring force and consuming Tang Hao's left arm. This scene left Flender, Zhao Wuji, and the others terrified. They didn't expect this black tiger to possess such a powerful devouring force. Could this be the legendary dark demonic evil god tiger? Yu Xiaorogang's slightly trembling voice rang out at this moment. It wasn't until he saw the dark demonic evil god tiger display its unparalleled devouring force just now that he recalled a type of evil and powerful spirit beast recorded in some ancient books. The dark demonic evil god tiger. Zhao Wuji scratched his head. Dark demonic evil god tiger, what kind of spirit beast is this? I've never heard of it. He had roamed the Spirit Master's world for many years, and had hunted many spirit beasts, but this was the first time he had heard the name Dark Demonic Evil God Tiger. Seeing everyone on the playground looking at him, Yu Xiaorogang's expression was terrified. The Dark Demonic Evil God Tiger is an extremely evil and powerful spirit beast. It masters multiple attributes, and possesses a terrifying devouring force, capable of rivaling a 100,000-year soul beast with only 10,000-year cultivation. Its method of cultivation is even more unique. It relies on devouring other spirit beasts and even spirit masters to rapidly increase its cultivation. Allowing it to grow is a destruction to the entire spirit beast world and even the spirit master's world. His voice carried a sense of fear, and his body couldn't even help but tremble when he looked at the dark, demonic, evil god tiger. Hiss! Everyone present couldn't help but gasp, realizing what a terrifying existence the spirit beast mount that Yi Hao had subdued was. Enning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, Oscar, and Ma Hongjun couldn't help but retreat, their eyes filled with fear as they looked at the dark, demonic, evil god tiger. Only Xiao Wu, who had known of the dark, demonic, evil god tiger's power from the beginning, appeared very calm now. It was true that the dark, demonic, evil god tiger was powerful, but hadn't it also been beaten into submission by Yi Hao? In her opinion, the most powerful and terrifying one was still Yi Hao. Not only did he become a titled Douluo at such a young age, but he also defeated the dark, demonic, evil god tiger Tang Hao and the titan giant ape, the top powerhouses of the spirit beast world and the spirit master's world. Yi Hao smiled kindly. "You Xiaogang, if you talk about little black like that, it can understand you." He had only chosen to subdue the dark, demonic, evil god tiger because he knew it was powerful and possessed a unique devouring ability. If it were too weak, it wouldn't befit his status. Was he supposed to catch a winged baboon as a mount? When Yu Xiaogang heard Yi Hao's words, his heart suddenly stopped, and cold sweat flowed down his forehead. He noticed that the dark, demonic, evil god tiger's pair of scarlet eyes were staring at him with ill intent, and the fear in his heart grew even more intense. An invisible pressure caused his legs to go weak, and he actually fell to his knees on the ground with a thud. Yi Hao extended his right hand toward the dark, demonic, evil god tiger, and it quickly lay on the ground to let him pet its head, as docile as if it weren't a ferocious spirit beast. While petting the dark, demonic, evil god tiger's massive tiger head, he spoke leisurely. "Actually, there's no need to be so afraid. Little Black is now my mount, so naturally, I won't let it wreak havoc on the world or indiscriminately devour spirit masters or spirit beasts." Having just finished speaking, Yi Hao was surprised to find that the ground under Yu Xiaorogang's feet was wet. "Is this urine?" For a moment, he didn't know how to describe this piece of trash, Yu Xiaorogang, and could only speak to Flender with a strange expression. "Dean Flender, this friend of yours needs a diaper." Flender felt bewildered upon hearing Yi Hao's words, and subconsciously looked at Yu Xiaorogang, who was kneeling on the ground, and then discovered the source of the problem. "Damn you, Yu Xiaorogang, you actually got scared enough to pee yourself in front of everyone." He felt ashamed and regretted letting Yu Xiaorogang come to Shrek Academy and even taking the initiative to introduce him to the students. "But what kind of bullshit grandmaster is this? His pants are wet." Ma Hongjun had sharp eyes and also noticed that the ground under Yu Xiaorogang was wet and couldn't help but say it out loud. Now everyone on the playground looked at Yu Xiaorogang, first stunned, and then immediately revealed expressions of disdain and disgust. "And this is a grandmaster, Mori like a granddamp." The others, out of consideration for Flender's face, didn't say it directly, only the fearless Ning Rongrong blurted out what she was thinking. "Grandmaster, I think it's the damp from having damp pants." The look of disgust in her eyes was undisguised, and she looked thoroughly disgusted. "Xiaorogang, this is too." Flender wanted to say that Yu Xiaorogang was embarrassing, but he knew his old friend cared about face, so he didn't finish his sentence. Zhao Wuji's expression was indifferent, as he quietly stepped back a few paces to get further away from Yu Xiaorogang. Seeing is believing. The grandmaster friend that Flender had always been touting turned out to be a granddamp. It really was surprising once you actually saw him. Yu Xiaorogang knew he had lost face, and wanted to get up and leave, but found his legs were still trembling and he couldn't stand up at all, so he had to ask Flender for help. "Flender, help me up to go rest." Flender looked disgusted, but due to the friendship of many years, he still endured the discomfort in his heart and helped Yu Xiaorogang up, then proceeded to support him as they left. As they walked, he discovered that Yu Xiaorogang was leaving one wet footprint after another on the ground, and his expression changed drastically. "Are you leaking?" Chapter 48, Tang Hao's Revenge Plan. Watching Flender and Yu Xiaorogang leave, Zhao Wuji approached Yi Hao, rubbed his hands together, and smiled obsequiously. Your Excellency Flame Emperor, you must be short on people since you're founding a Spirit Master Academy, right? If you need anyone, you can look for me, Zhao Wuji, to serve as a teacher or something. People climb to higher places, and water flows to lower ones. He naturally wanted to develop in a better place. Moreover, he originally came to Shrek Academy purely to avoid the Strength Clan. If he could enter the Spirit Master Academy founded by Yi Hao, he would count as one of Yi Hao's subordinates, and the Strength Clan would certainly not dare to do anything to him. Yi Hao saw through Zhao Wuji's little scheme, patted Zhao Wuji on the shoulder, and said playfully, "Old Zhao, if you want to come, just say it directly. Why beat around the bush? You're definitely too old to be a student, but I would welcome you as an academy teacher." Among the deans and teachers of Shrek Academy, the only one he had some good feelings for was Zhao Wuji. Zhao Wuji couldn't be considered a good person, but he was usually very protective of his own, and he was very loyal to his people. Furthermore, with the academy newly established, it was certainly short of manpower, and it did indeed need some teachers. Zhao Wuji's strength was not weak, it was about the same as Flender's. So he was certainly qualified to be an academy teacher. Hearing Yi Hao's words, Zhao Wuji was in high spirits. "Then I shall respectfully accept. I'm definitely joining Your Excellency Flame Emperor's Spirit Master Academy. Even Flender can't stop me." With Yi Hao as his backer, he finally didn't have to hide in a remote place like Shrek Academy and could walk openly in the Spirit Master's world. Zhu Zhuqing suddenly spoke up. "Your Excellency Flame Emperor, you severed Tang Hao's arm. He will certainly harbor hatred in his heart. Perhaps you should." She didn't finish her sentence, but the meaning was clear. She was suggesting that Yi Hao cut weeds and eliminate the roots, not letting Tang Hao live. Among the three girls of Shrek, her temperament was the coldest, and she was also the most ruthless. Facing enemies, she would not show mercy, nor would she feel pity. Yi Hao vetoed. Tang Hao and his son might still be useful. Besides, Tang Hao lost his left arm, which contained a spirit bone, and his spirit power dropped to level 85. He can no longer be considered a threat. As for Tang San, I actually hope he has the qualifications to become a threat. When he said this, he glanced at Zyro Wu, only to see her head bowed, saying nothing. Is this rabbit still attached to Tang San? This won't do, I must completely sever her thoughts of Tang San. Zhao Wuji also solemnly reminded him at this moment. Your Excellency Flame Emperor, Tang Hao is no longer cause for concern for you, but the now closed Clear Sky sect is a threat that needs to be guarded against. The current sect master of the Clear Sky sect should be Tang Hao's elder brother, Tang Zyro, with the title Clear Sky. Speaking of which, I have some grudges with the Strength Clan, which is subordinate to the Clear Sky sect. In fact, my being at Shrek Academy was to avoid the pursuit of the Strength Clan. He didn't want Yi Hao to be hunted by the Clear Sky sect, as in that case, the Strength Clan would also attack him. Ening Rongrong chimed in. The Clear Sky sect is known as the #1 sect in the world. It truly cannot be underestimated. Its strength is even greater than our 7 treasure glazed tile school. In the entire Douluo Continent, besides Spirit Hall, the only one that could make the 7 treasure glazed tile school fear it by 3 points was the Clear Sky sect. Even the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan was not feared by the 7 treasure glazed tile school. At most, they were mutually wary of each other. Yi Hao laughed. The Clear Sky sect, just a bunch of rabble. If back when Tang Hao was hunted by Spirit Hall, they had dared to stand up and protect their successor and fight against Spirit Hall, then I would have held them in higher regard. Although Tang Hao's strength is lacking, he is already the person with the most backbone in the Clear Sky sect. Ever since Tang Chen left, the Clear Sky sect had plummeted, and the title of the #1 sect in the world was just for show. The previous sect master of the Clear Sky sect was an out-and-out good-for-nothing. Upon learning that Tang Hao had provoked Spirit Hall and brought about a declaration of war from Spirit Hall against the Clear Sky sect, he was actually scared to death. If that's not a good-for-nothing, what is? The few people present heard Yi Hao's casual words and looked at each other, not knowing what to say. The dignified Clear Sky Douluo had actually received an evaluation of having lacking strength, and the #1 sect in the world, the Clear Sky sect, was even called a bunch of rabble. Perhaps only this Your Excellency Flame Emperor before them would dare to say such things. Saying the most domineering words in the calmest tone. The sky had already darkened, and Yi Hao instructed, "All right, everyone prepare yourselves, then get a good night's rest. tomorrow we set off for Heaven Do City to found the Spirit Master Academy. Dad, what do we do now? In the wilderness, Tang San was very confused. He felt that his life was a complete mess. Ever since he entered Shrek Academy, nothing had gone right. This even made him resent Yu Xiaogang a little. If it weren't for Yu Xiaogang recommending him to Shrek Academy, he wouldn't have met Yi Hao, and how could the subsequent series of events have happened? Tang Hao looked at the dejected Tang San, reached out his only arm to pat Tang San's head, and comforted him. Don't worry, we'll go find your aunt. She has a way to contact your uncle. Hatred leaked from his eyes. That youth named Yi Hao had actually severed one of his arms. This grudge must be avenged. With his strength, he was of course not enough to contend with Yi Hao, but behind him were Tang Xiao and the Clear Sky Sect. Even if the Clear Sky Sect didn't like him, he was ultimately of the Clear Sky Sect's bloodline, and his spirit was also the Clear Sky Hammer. As long as Tang Xiao lobbied for it, plus the fact that the Clear Sky Sect had always valued reputation and dignity, they might be willing to take action against Yi Hao to demonstrate their prestige. Aunt, uncle. Tang San was very confused. He had never heard Tang Hao mention that he had these relatives before. During those years in Saint Spirit Village, he had always thought that Tang Hao was just an ordinary blacksmith and that he himself was just a blacksmith's son. Tang Hao said proudly, "Little San, actually we are successors of the Clear Sky Sect, and the Clear Sky Hammer is the exclusive spirit of the Clear Sky Sect's bloodline. And the Clear Sky Sect is the #1 sect in the world. No Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan or 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School can compare with our Clear Sky Sect. Every disciple of the Clear Sky Sect must take pride in the Clear Sky Sect and never do anything that would disgrace the Clear Sky Sect." When Clear Sky Sect disciples mentioned the Clear Sky Sect, their faces would reveal a proud expression, and they would also feel proud of their status as disciples of the world's #1 sect. Even Tang Hao was no exception. Tang San thought for a moment and asked, "Then, what about Spirit Hall?" In his understanding over these years, Spirit Hall seemed to be the truly strongest force, with its sphere of influence spread across every city. In contrast, since he left Saint Spirit Village, he had almost never heard of the Clear Sky Sect. Tang Hao's proud expression froze. He thought to himself, this unlucky child is bringing up the wrong topic. Why must he drag Spirit Hall into this when everything is fine? He could only speak seriously. "Little San, you must remember that the Clear Sky Sect is no worse than any other force. Furthermore, Spirit Hall is our family's #1 enemy, and Yi Hao counts as our #2 enemy." The next day, Yi Hao, who had meditated all night, pushed open the door and found Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, Xiao Wu Oscar, Ma Hongjun, and Zhao Wuji all standing on the left side outside the door. As for the right side, there was the dark, demonic, evil god Tiger, who was fast asleep. Chapter 49, The Cardinal of the Spirit Hall Attacks. "Ma Hongjun, why did you come too?" Yi Hao examined Ma Hongjun, his voice cold. He could not bring himself to like Ma Hongjun at all. The guy was a lecherous creep. Last time, he had actually tried to harass a woman in public. If he were in his previous life, he would have definitely been locked up for a few years. Ma Hongjun said with a fawning smile, "He, Your Excellency Yan Dai, I also want to go to the Spirit Master Academy you founded." Seeing that everyone from Shrek Academy was about to leave with Yi Hao, he was anxious and naturally wanted to follow. Following a powerful titled Douluo capable of defeating the Titan Giant Ape and Clear Sky Douluo would surely guarantee a bright future. It was at least better than staying at Shrek Academy. Yi Hao decisively refused. "Sorry, our academy doesn't accept just anyone. You should stay at Shrek Academy and keep Dean Flender company." Was this his way of leaving a lone seedling for Flender? Upon hearing this, Ma Hongjun said with a mournful face, "Your Excellency Yan Dai, how am I worse than Oscar or Zhu Zhuqing? Give me 1 year, and I will definitely be able to become a spirit elder." He considered his own aptitude to be no worse than the other students at Shrek Academy, and his spirit was even superior. Yi Hao replied coldly, "The academy I founded values aptitude, but it values character even more." After speaking, he lightly waved his hand, and vast spirit power surged out, slapping Ma Hongjun hundreds of meters away. The dark, demonic, evil god Tiger was woken up by the commotion. It lazily opened its eyes, glanced at Yi Hao, and suddenly bristled, immediately adopting a defensive posture. Then, it suddenly remembered that it had chosen to submit yesterday and was now Yi Hao's mount. It had slept for a long time, and waking up, its head was a bit fuzzy, causing it to forget. "Zyro Hai, what are you doing?" Yi Hao's cold voice rang out. In his palm, a glass-like exotic fire emerged, emitting hot energy fluctuations. Hearing Yi Hao's cold voice, Zyro Hai was so scared that it shuddered and immediately lay on the ground, acting obedient. It was truly afraid of Yi Hao. Last night, it had initially planned to run away, but the thought of the consequences if the escape failed made it hold back, and it ultimately chose to have a nice sleep. Yi Hao warned, "Zyro Hai, I advise you not to harbor any crooked thoughts. The person who challenged me yesterday paid the price with an arm. You wouldn't want to end up like him, would you?" Only he could suppress the dark demonic evil god tiger right now. If anything happened to him, the dark demonic evil god tiger might go on a killing spree. He needed to think of a way to make the dark demonic evil god tiger completely obedient in the future. But for now, it was better to head to Heaven Do City first. The dark demonic evil god tiger nodded hurriedly. Before it became a 100,000 year soul beast, it was still quite loyal. Once it became a 100,000 year soul beast, Yi Hao would probably be dead, and by then, wouldn't it be free as a bird? Yi Hao's gaze swept over Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, Zyro Wu Oscar, Zhao Wuji, and the dark demonic evil god tiger. Feeling quite excited, he announced loudly. "All right, everyone set off. Destination, Heaven Do City." He had always wanted to go to Heaven Do City. There were many beauties there, and they were of an age sway. Suitable for harvesting, unlike the 3 Shrek girls whom he could only look at but not touch. "Yay!" Ning Rongrong cheered, and the others also wore smiles. The 6 people and 1 tiger set off in high spirits. However, just as they reached the gate of Shrek Academy, they encountered a menacing group of people and had to stop for the time being. Seeing the red-robed old man in the center of the 7 opponents, Ning Rongrong stated his identity. "Your Excellency Yan Dai, this person should be the cardinal of the Spirit Hall main branch in Soto City. It seems that person yesterday wasn't lying. He did indeed have a cardinal grandfather." Zhao Wuji and Oscar were stunned upon hearing this. They didn't know that Yi Hao and the others had killed the grandson of the Soto City cardinal yesterday. Seeing the cardinal acting with ill intent, they were very surprised, but they calmed down after a moment of astonishment. The previous supreme pontiff of the Spirit Hall had been severely injured by Clear Sky Douluo, and Clear Sky Douluo had been crushed by Your Excellency Yan Dai. Looking at it this way, the Spirit Hall didn't have much majesty in front of Your Excellency Yan Dai. Cardinal Lotus looked at the dark demonic evil god tiger, Yi Hao, Zyro Wu Ning Rongrong, and Zhu Zhuqing, confirming the eyewitness testimony from yesterday. He was certain that these were the people who had killed his grandson, Liu Xingde. He immediately activated his spirit, and 7 spirit rings, 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 3 black, rose up. A giant black tiger, a 17 or 18-year-old youth, plus 3 younger girls. It seems you are the ones who killed my grandson. The 6 people beside Lokas also activated their spirits upon seeing this, revealing 6 spirit rings each. 1 spirit saint and 6 spirit emperors. Within the Balak kingdom under the Heaven Do Empire, this lineup was considered luxurious, capable of wiping out the top family of a main city. Yi Hao said, "Aren't you going to ask why we killed your grandson? Yesterday it was Liu Xingde and those idiots who provoked them first. It was pure suicide." Suicide was one thing, but they were too trashy, so much so that they couldn't even trigger a system mission, and could only be used to feed the dark demonic evil god tiger. Ning Rongrong was very unconvinced. "That's right. It was clearly your grandson who brought people to cause trouble for us first." With her young Miss personality, it was impossible for her to let someone trouble her without fighting back. Lokas gave a hideous smile. "I don't care who started it, I only care about Xingde's death. Since you killed Xingde, you all have to go down and accompany him." His eyes were filled with murderous intent. He had no intention of letting Yi Hao and the others go. He waved his hand slightly, and the 6 spirit emperors beside him quickly separated and rushed out, surrounding Yi Hao and the others to prevent them from escaping. Detected that Cardinal Lokas of the Spirit Hall wants to kill the host. Please kill him in return. Mission reward 160. 60,000-year spirit bone. A mission was triggered, and the reward was a 60,000-year spirit bone. A bright smile appeared on Yi Hao's face. As expected of a cardinal of the Spirit Hall, you are much stronger than your trashy grandson. A cardinal of the Spirit Hall triggering a mission could be considered quite good. He hadn't expected to have an unexpected gain just as he was leaving Shrek Academy. Court death, everyone attack together and kill them. Lotus was furious and immediately shouted, charging at Yi Hao and the others along with the 6 spirit emperors. Get down, all of you! Yi Hao shouted coldly. An overwhelming pressure landed accurately on Lotus and the 6 spirit emperors, causing all 7 of them to instantly collapse to the ground. Immediately after, 9 spirit rings rose up, further enhancing the pressure. Lotus struggled to turn his head to look forward. When he saw Yi Hao's 9 spirit rings, his brain crashed on the spot, and he muttered to himself. How can it be a titled Douluo, and with a spirit ring configuration of 8 black and 1 red? He couldn't believe that the murderer who killed his grandson was actually a titled Douluo with 8 10,000-year spirit rings and 1 100,000-year spirit ring. The other party was clearly several years younger than his grandson. How could there be such a young titled Douluo in the world, and with such an unbelievable spirit ring configuration? Chapter 50, 8th Spirit Ability, Candlelight. Zhao Wuji rubbed his hands together at this moment. Your Excellency Flame Emperor, leave this kind of trash to me. He was eager to perform well in front of Yi Hao, to prove his loyalty and strength. Yi Hao refused. No need. This person is, after all, a cardinal of Spirit Hall, so it is better for me to handle him personally. A peculiar pattern suddenly appeared in his eyes, as if flames were dancing within them. Immediately after, 3 colored flames erupted out of thin air upon Lotus and the 6 spirit emperors who were sprawled on the ground. In an instant, this spirit saint and the 6 spirit emperors turned into ashes of fire. A gust of wind blew by, and even their ashes were scattered. Successfully killed the Spirit Hall Cardinal Lotus in retaliation. Reward, 60,000-year spirit bone, left leg bone of pulsing breath. Left leg bone of pulsing breath contains pure spirit power. After fusion, it can increase spirit power rank and significantly boost speed. The spirit bone had arrived, and since it was a left leg bone that boosted speed, it was quite suitable for Zhu Zhuking. Enning Rongrong noticed that Yi Hao's 8th spirit ring had just lit up, and she asked curiously, Your Excellency Flame Emperor, is this your spirit ability? She had only seen Yi Hao's spirit ring light up and didn't see him make any moves, yet those 7 people had caught fire and burned to death. It made her feel it was incredible. Yi Hao did not hide it. This is my 8th spirit ability, Candlelight. Wherever my gaze falls, heavenly fire appears. Simply put, this spirit ability only requires him to stare at the target to ignite and burn them to ashes. Originally, the power of this spirit ability was not particularly strong, and ordinary flames had limited lethality. But after he mastered the exotic fire, its lethality rose straight up. Ask yourself, if exotic fire suddenly burns on your body without any warning, how can you defend against it? Enning Rongrong exclaimed, Doesn't that mean whoever you look at dies? She didn't expect there to be such a heaven-defying spirit ability in the world. Just one glance could make the target burn, and that flame looked terrifying. Even a spirit saint was reduced to ashes in an instant. That's not wrong either, Yi Hao answered with a smile. For targets unable to resist the exotic fire, this spirit ability was simply a one-hit kill skill. He could kill them with a single glance. Oscar began to exercise his bootlicking skills again. As expected of Your Excellency Flame Emperor, your gaze alone can kill. With just one glare, I'm afraid even a titled Douluo would be burned to death. Upon hearing the 3 of them, the dark demonic evil god Tiger felt deep apprehension welling up in its scarlet eyes. It was somewhat fortunate that Yi Hao hadn't used this spirit ability when fighting it earlier. Otherwise, it would likely have been burned to ashes in a single encounter. It knew exactly how terrifying those strange 3-colored flames were. Even a combination of multiple elemental powers couldn't resist them, and spirit power would be incinerated in an instant. Only Zhu Zhuking's face did not show much joy. Your Excellency Flame Emperor, since a cardinal of Spirit Hall has died, they will definitely send people to investigate. What if they trace it back to you? She was very worried that Yi Hao's actions would completely offend the entire Spirit Hall. Spirit Hall was undoubtedly the strongest force on the Douluo Continent. Even the #1 sect in the world, the Clear Sky sect, could only choose to close its gates and retreat when facing Spirit Hall. Yi Hao looked at Zhu Zhuking's delicate little face and felt gratified that this girl was always thinking of him. He comforted her. "Don't worry, I have my own ways to deal with Spirit Hall. Now let's continue our journey and go to Soto City to take a carriage. It's not close to Heaven Do City from here." The 6 people and 1 tiger continued their journey, completely leaving Shrek Academy, and soon entered Soto City. They hired a carriage team and headed toward Heaven Do City in a grand procession. As for the dark, demonic, evil god tiger, it naturally couldn't get into the carriage and could only follow the convoy slowly from behind. Shrek Academy, Flender stood in the building, watching Zhao Wuji and the others leave with Yi Hao. He sighed and slowly sat down on his chair. His academy could already be considered dead, in all but name. Ma Hongzhen entered the room at this moment and, seeing Flender sitting on the chair, asked in a low voice, "Headmaster, they have all left. What should we do?" Flender remained silent. His expression was very unpleasant. The Shrek Academy he had poured his heart and soul into now only had 1 student left, Ma Hongzhen. Even the vice headmaster Zhao Wuji had left with them. Of course, Zhao Wuji had already spoken to him about leaving last night, and he had personally agreed to it. What else could he do if he didn't agree? Zhao Wuji's heart was no longer here, and he couldn't force him to stay. "They've left, but aren't you still here?" A voice rang out abruptly behind Ma Hongzhen. Ma Hongzhen was startled, and turned around to see that it was Grandmaster Yu Zairogang who had arrived. He couldn't help but grumble inwardly, but he spoke enthusiastically, "It's Grandmaster. However, I don't quite understand what you mean. What use is there in only having me left?" Yu Zairogang said confidently, "It's better to say that only by having you left can we better cultivate you. I have already seen your records. Your talent is very high, but unfortunately you are too lazy. Your spirit, the evil fire phoenix, is very strong but has flaws. But having flaws means there is even greater room for improvement. Under my careful guidance, you will definitely surpass Oscar and Zhu Zhuking." Now that Tang San had left, he wasn't sure if he would be able to see Tang San again in the future. Now, he could only temporarily use Ma Hongzhen to replace Tang San in executing his plan. As long as he could train Ma Hongzhen, who possessed a flawed spirit, into a top-tier powerhouse, it would prove that he was not a failure. However, the reason he chose Ma Hongzhen was also because Ma Hongzhen's spirit was essentially a very strong phoenix. If it were an ordinary spirit with flaws, he wouldn't even give it a second glance, let alone teach it. Really, but Oscar and the others have Yi Hao as a backer to help them. Ma Hongzhen remained skeptical of Yu Zairogang's words. Yi Hao was a titled Douluo, whereas Yu Zairogang was already at such an age, and was still just a spirit grandmaster. It was truly hard to be convincing. Yu Zairogang said proudly, "Yi Hao is indeed a rare genius in the history of spirit masters, but when it comes to teaching spirit masters, I have the confidence to call myself the best in the world. For many years, I have conducted extensive research and statistics on spirit masters and spirits, and I have proposed the 10 core competencies of spirits. There are no useless spirits, only useless spirit masters. Furthermore, your spirit only has flaws, it is not a useless spirit. With my theoretical knowledge, it is enough to let you reach the peak." Putting aside the fact that his spirit power rank was only 29, he had always felt that he was a genius. "Well, all right then." Ma Hongzhen scratched his head and could only perfunctorily agree. He had no other options now. Yi Hao wouldn't take him in, so where else could he go besides staying at Shrek Academy? Flender finally spoke at this moment. "Zairogang, I'll leave the child Ma Hongzhen to you." Stardew Great Forest, core area. In Star Lake, the 100,000-year soul beast Sky Azure Bull Python stretched its massive bull head out of the lake surface. Its eyes, like large lanterns, were gleaming, connected to a massive snake body that was black and cyan, several times thicker than a water vat. It looked toward the Titan giant ape lying outside the edge of Star Lake and asked, Ming, how is your injury?" That's it for today's chapter. If you enjoyed it, like, comment, and subscribe to Infinite Novel Audio. For more stories, check out my other channel AI Otaku Studio, and I'll see you in the next chapter.